notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back and turn Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle and Co. Come keep with the show. It's a new era. Let's get it, let's go. It's Tingle and Co. When you see that notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back and turn Matthew to the house, baby.
All right, good morning and welcome in on this Wednesday mornings. We are live here at Southern Regional Medical Center. Tingle & Co. brought to you by FanDuel every single day. FanDuel Sportsbook brings you our show. Make sure you download the app. You go to the website, FanDuel Sportsbook, and you gamble responsibly. Always very, very important to gamble responsibly. As more people entering into the studio this morning, Christian making his way in, straight from the Ponderosa. He just stayed the night at the practice field last night, and head straight in this morning.
That'd be a great sleeper.
It would be. That grass is flush. It's the best. I mean,
you'd be like Lane Kiffin. You're just gonna have the best day ever.
Yeah.
You could sleep on the grass, or if you get cold, you could go to the turf. Mm-hmm. You have two beds.
Two very good options.
I love that.
But yeah, FanDuel Sportsbook. Go to the app, download the app, go to the website. All of those things. We appreciate them bringing you our show every single day. Like we said, some NBA play-in basketball tonight, as there was some last night as well. The Blazers and the Hornets move on. Tonight you've got the Magic and the 76ers, with the Sixers favored by 2.5, as well as the Clippers and the Warriors in the Western Conference, with the Clippers favored by 5.5 points tonight over Golden State. So there you go, FanDuel, some NBA basketball tonight. Never checked what the line was for last night, but the Tigers win 4-2 over Northwestern State. They avenged last year's loss. I would assume not. They avenged last year's loss, last year's run rule midweek loss to Northwestern State by getting a victory in a game that never felt comfortable.
No, never felt comfortable, and was one that, obviously, when you look at the lineup they put out there and who pitched, you throw Zach Cowan in a midweek against Northwestern State. Obviously, they couldn't lose either, and they were trying to nip that in the bud with putting somebody out there that what you would hope you'd be able to get a lead. Once again, the second inning strikes.
Right.
And you go down 1-0, which is not that bad.
But you can't get 6 outs without giving
something
up.
And boy, howdy, was Jay on 10 for 9 innings.
Ooh, Coach.
That was
There
impressive.
were a couple of scenes in that game from Coach Jay Johnson that, and I understand it.
Me too.
Like the Simpson scene, I think is the first one, or maybe the one that stands out to everybody, is where Simpson's at third, and there's a grounder to the shortstop or the third baseman to the shortstop, and you can kind of like flinch at home and not go to maybe take the attention off of the runner going to first, but Simpson takes a couple steps off, and then hesitates. You got to make a decision. You're either staying on third base or you're going home. Simpson doesn't pick either. He ends up going home, getting tagged out at the plate, and as Jay trots on to challenge, because any play at the plate, you go and you challenge it, Jay whispered a little something in his ear as he walks past, and then back to the dugout again then, because those are the mistakes that we talk about when we say this team just struggles at baseball. Those are the types of mistakes where guys are doing their job and they don't capitalize because they make some sort of stupid mistake. Cowan executes pitches on a Friday night against Ole Miss, but the infield can't field the ball. And then last night you get runners on and you can't score the run because you hesitate and you get tagged at home. And this is Jay going straight into the dugout to handle business. Because those are the things that he's talked about, that we've talked about. Stop making the mistakes that counteract the good that you're doing. When you finally find good things and you finally do good things, you screw it up. By making error in the field or a wild pitch in a 1-2 count or hesitating and getting tagged out at home instead of having the bases loaded with whoever was coming up next.
Well, it's just the one thing you did is the only thing you couldn't do.
You can't hesitate.
You can't.
You got to pick one.
Either bait him to looking at you
right
at third and you're able to load the bases and stay and get back, or put your head down and get to home plate as fast as you can, because he wasn't playing up, he wasn't playing back, he was playing somewhat middle at shortstop. So it was a hard hit ball and one hop right to him, and that's where he got caught in no man's land. And it was, he looked at it, he checked third, and he goes, "You're 45 feet down the line, and then you just stopped. Well, I'm going to throw in front of you, and now you're in a pickle, Dick." And you get ultimately tagged out. It's a run doesn't score, and you're the leadoff, and you've got your man on third out. Like, that doesn't do,
right.
That literally did the worst thing you could do.
It would have been bases loaded, no outs.
Right, or you score a run.
You
can't just get out.
And you have 2-1, no outs.
Right. Instead, you somehow get out. And Braden Simpson jogs right past him, and Jay Johnson was not done with him for the entire inning and going into the next inning.
Oh, yeah.
It was, and luckily, Jake Brown bails out.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he was going to be.
You better hug him and tell him you love him.
That's exactly what he said. Because Simpson was in at the absolute, the doghouse.
Oh,
Shout out Tucker. And
shout out.
Jake Brown hits a 3-run homer, and LSU is able to get the lead and never loses it again. But even in the dugout, he goes and finds Simpson. He goes, "You better go tell him thank you, because I wasn't done with you." And ultimately, you see him get pulled. And for the other person that's in the doghouse, Zach York, and puts him in.
Draws a walk.
Of course.
Good job.
Changed his walk-up song.
There you go.
And then he got pulled.
And then he got right. Then
he
someone
changed his walk-up song.
Californication.
That's what was played when he came out. I don't know, because sometimes they'll play a song, but maybe he did. Maybe those are the types of things when you got to get your rhythm going.
I don't know if Zach York's issue was his walk-up song. Now I think some players do have that issue, but I don't think it's Zach York's issue.
You are the music professional.
Mm-hmm. Well,
yep.
Yeah, that's what I like the most about it.
There you go.
About sports is the music.
But the magic moment for last night, and I think I put it in the document, was to Jake Brown and Devin Sheeran. And to me, it encapsulates that game in totality. Was you won because your best players made the plays. Nothing else. I mean, not that there weren't other guys that made plays, but when the opportunity arose for Jake Brown to hit a 3-run homer and put you ahead, Jake Brown hit the homer and put you ahead. When Grant Fontenot needed to put up zeros, he came out and he put up zeros. And when Devin Sheeran needed to slam the door shut, he did that. Those are your best players being your best players, and that's what you're having to do in a midweek baseball game against Northwestern State, is for your best players to win you the game.
Double magic moment. We got the 5th inning, 2-out golden, 3-run homer, Jake Brown.
Love you guys. Good wins. Keep the momentum this weekend.
1-2. Brown launches in the air, right center field. This ball going back, and this ball is gone! Tigers on top of the Demons. What a shot. 4-2 LSU.
8th inning, bases loaded, 1 out. Sheeran, punch out that.
Feels good to be back in the W column. Let's just keep fighting like that. Not win, close games. Let's do it.
Bases loaded.
Love you guys. Good wins. Keep the momentum this weekend.
1 out. Sheeran, punch out that.
Feels good to be back in the W column. Let's just keep fighting like that. Not win, close games. Let's do it.
Bases loaded, Arjuan at third. Sheeran, the 2-2 pitch. A swing and a miss. 95 on the gun. Second out of the inning.
Double match.
That's what it takes on a Tuesday night to get a win. It's for your best position player to step up and make a play, and your debatedly your best bullpen pitcher to step up and make a play. And you needed Jake Brown to hit a 3-run homer, and you needed Devin Sheeran to slam the door shut at the end to find a way and win that baseball game over Northwestern State last night. This morning, we've got a packed studio as Wyatt and Poggi make their way in along with Christian, Lloyd, myself, and then it was requested that we have a special guest join. You better not choke on that, buddy.
Oh,
you better
if
be
I had a
careful.
nickel.
Yeah. What?
Pause. We don't know who it is
You
yet.
heard?
We don't know who it is yet.
That's your, I do. There you go. Way to handle business down there, big dog. We've got Tucker in the studio this morning, crushing a bone.
He's cleaning up after himself.
I needed to give him something to stay occupied, so he wasn't hustling and bustling around in here, and so that's what it
Good
is.
parenting.
Tucker, good morning.
That thing's not lasting 2 hours. I got
No,
news for
no
you, dog.
chance.
The last 30 minutes, he's going to be up and at 'em
No
with us.
chance. But fellas, good morning. How are we doing?
Morning.
Morning, doing great.
Everybody doing good?
Gotta love that Baton Rouge traffic. Man.
Oh yeah.
You got absolutely shafted. The
Yes, I
one
did.
day I need you to go get poached.
Yeah, I did get shafted.
So I got up at 7:20 along with Wyatt. Wyatt hops in the bathroom to shower before I can. Obviously you can't do two people in the bathroom at the same time. We all know that. So Wyatt gets in the shower first for 10, 15 minutes. So I'm now stuck outside the bathroom till 7:35. I'm going to be late to the show if I go get poached. So I'm like, yo, Wyatt, can you just go grab him? We're going to be there at the same time. Well, sure enough, I guess the traffic today was terrible.
Somebody got in a
And
wreck.
I got
Yeah, it's
3
tough.
texts. I got a text
You're
from
18
Lloyd,
minutes late.
then Wyatt's,
Yeah.
then Christian's. Like, Lloyd got caught in the traffic, then Wyatt, and then Christian.
That's never happened before.
Yeah,
It's all good.
We're on time for every show.
Yeah, I know.
That's how it goes.
very unfortunate.
There's nothing y'all can do about traffic, and that's okay. Yeah, everybody was awake.
Wake
and
up
prepared.
earlier like
I
I did.
actually wanted to know, what time did Lloyd get here?
I was on track for
7:45.
7:45.
Oh,
I got
he was on track for
I got a 20-minute
7:45.
traffic jam, but still got here before 8.
That's true. What time did you get here?
7:57.
Oh, okay. Not bad.
Not bad.
Before 8 o'clock.
But I looked at it and I was like, oh, I'm actually going to make it. I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. And then 7:45, it goes 20 minutes one ways. And I was like, I'm right here.
Was it worth it? Was it worth it to get
It's
up
never
a little
worth
bit
it.
earlier?
No.
It's always.
I was
worth
awake.
it.
I was already awake. I didn't get out of
You got to hang out with Tucker for a little bit
I did.
extra.
And then I thought I was streaming him because I was doing some mega camera work on him. I had both cameras
wasn't
on
live.
him, and we weren't live. We were just we were streaming, but we weren't live.
Yeah.
That's honestly the only thing I was upset about in the car when I was like, we're not going to make it till the show
Tucker
starts.
show.
I was like, I'm not going to be able to play with Tucker before
Yep.
the show.
Tucker Paulson,
It's all right.
his podcast, his pod.
Why couldn't we bring Tunchi? Why wasn't she included?
She wasn't invited.
No one likes cats.
Would he go crazy over Lloyd's cat?
Probably. He's a puppy. He turns 2 on Sunday.
I don't.
He's mild mannered, but he still is.
Yeah,
a
I
puppy.
mean, cats and dogs is a tale as old as time.
Hey,
It's
amen.
the original rivalry.
It
It
rains
is.
that sometimes.
It is.
It
In
does.
about 10 minutes, we will have Jacques Doucet join us to talk some LSU athletics as the Tigers, of course, baseball wins last night. LSU football practice yesterday. Also heard from Lane Kiffin. Media got to stay for the entirety of practice. We'll see what Christian got from it yesterday. But we'll obviously ask JD about it first. We'll get Jacques Doucet's
Oh,
takes
seriously?
Yeah.
before Christian. Of course, we're going to see what JD got.
How about
from
he
practice.
corrects me? He follows.
We
up.
already did that, Christian.
We handled that yesterday.
My notes are good. They're better
What-
than
Let me see. Can I
most
see him
people's.
first? Let's see. Let's get a look at these.
Preview.
I circled the plays that I thought
Uh-huh.
need to be mentioned.
What about players?
I mean, if the players are in the plays,
You did do a good job of keeping track of the.
I like that.
yeah,
of
motherfucker,
the
I
plays.
know.
Uh-huh.
There are still a handful of things we need to work on, but this is a good job. You doodled a little bit.
I was
That
going to
was-
say, what are the doodles?
That was yesterday sitting at
What is that?
That was
Let me
yesterday
see.
sitting at home,
Okay.
Nice.
just drawing shit.
Oh, you can't see it.
Interesting.
Just
You're just artistic. That's okay.
Uh-huh. With,
Little
with
free
you.
Yeah, he is. But we appreciate everybody getting in here, starting their morning with us. Like we said, Jacques Doucet will be here at 8:30 this morning to talk some ball. Let's listen to what Jay had to say after the game last night, where the Tigers win 4-2 in what, like we said, wasn't the prettiest of ball games, but it was nice to get back in the win column after a winless week last week, where you actually see 2 claps to them. Bethune-Cookman. Not just LSU losing in the midweek. They take down Florida last night. What was it, 13-7?
Yep.
Yes.
Bethune-Cookman back-to-back midweeks with victories over SEC powerhouses. 2 claps to Bethune-Cookman for beating Florida last night. Ready. Just making sure, it's not just LSU. Bethune-Cookman, like Lloyd said, might just be a really good baseball team.
They might just be better than you think.
Exact same type of game too. It's 5-5, and they just put up an 8 spot in the fucking 7th.
Swing
for
that bat.
no reason.
They wear you down.
Yeah,
They
it's
don't make
wild.
errors. They take great at bats. I'm high on this Bethune-Cookman team. You don't. They're
You don't want to see them in a regional.
They're tough, man.
They're going to fuck around and win somebody's regional. They're going to go to Florida's or Florida State's or whatever, or Georgia Tech's, and you'd be like, Bethune-Cookman's in the final.
The Little Rock of 2026?
Maybe.
Is that who we're talking about
UCLA
here?
lost last night also.
did.
Yes,
who was
good.
Yeah,
UC Santa Barbara?
yeah, or something like that.
LSU,
One of those
best team in the country?
schools.
Streets are saying. We
People
said
going
they
down.
were going to get hot. I mean,
And everybody else can get cold.
yeah.
We'll actually see what Jay Johnson thinks about the team.
Yeah.
About the LSU
Speaking of
baseball
dogs.
team. This was him last night after the game via our guy John Eads from WFB.
So we need to play better. Like it's just like they have some fight. I will not take. I mean, like I said, we've come back. Probably more comeback wins this year than most Tigers coaching, but it's because we played so not good to put ourselves in that position. Like, and that's not how this thing is going to go or should go, and it's gone for too long. And we're gonna do everything in our power not to do that. And it's not that they don't care, but we need to play better. Like, that's just the bottom line.
There's Jay. We have to make comeback victories because we start games off playing not good.
And that was about people so fucking bad. That was right on the tip of the tongue.
And he's not wrong.
But he
like
might have been, literally, probably was out of curse words. Like I've done this far too much today. I need to rein it in. Because,
need a break.
Yeah, yesterday was, I don't think you said anything probably that didn't have a swear.
Yesterday was quite the performance from Jay
We
Johnson.
picked up what it was the
Early.
second inning. I was like, oh, man.
No, it was before you even got there, actually, because Curiel got on to start the game, and then Aaron Beatty immediately rolled into a double play, and he fucking sent the clipboard flying immediately.
Because it's literally
That poor clipboard.
like a lead-off single straight into a double play.
Immediately, yeah.
And it's just like that's because that's the thing. It's when something good they can't compound good things. It's a good thing here, maybe a second or third good thing, and then boom, something bad.
Right.
Like it's just
It's one
something
step
bad's
forward,
got to
2
happen.
steps back.
No, it's one step forward, then you fall down.
Yeah. We're learning to walk. Thought we knew how.
Right? You're like, oh, okay, 4 steps. Boom, faceplant. Just not.
Oh, look, we learned how to load a gun. Oh, you shot yourself.
In the foot.
But then sometimes you get saved by really good baseball players like Jake Brown and Devin Sheeran is ultimately what it came down to. If you want to think we're overreacting by saying the midweek games are literally must win from now on, look at who pitched last night. Zach Cowan, Grant Fontenot, Santiago Garcia, Devin Sheeran. That should be what your Sunday looks like.
Yeah.
But you're having to throw them on a Tuesday because you literally cannot lose these games.
I don't know if you would without Devin Sheeran last night.
He slams the door shut.
Bases loaded.
He comes in with the bases loaded and absolutely shut him down.
And needed obviously the mentality of Sheeran is something that is, special.
It is.
And he gives you the old school Paul Skeens and then shuts the crowd down or the opposing dugout. And somebody commented like Northwestern State, and his response was, "We'll take whatever we can get."
We can. Yeah.
That's where we are
exactly
right now.
right. Yep. You have to you got to take whatever you can get.
It's a win.
There is no win too small.
Northwestern State, not a bad baseball team.
There's no win too small. Because at this point, you need literally every single one of them. Midweek games, what did Cordell say? Can't lose.
Can't lose.
Midweek games can't lose.
I felt, and you almost, I don't want to say I feel bad, but Northwestern State was licking their chops. Like, this
Of
is our
course.
chance to get,
yeah.
we're going to join in the party. Because
If I'm
everybody's taking LSU down in the midweek. We did it last year.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, here comes, like, you saw whenever Devin Sheeran came in,
That was about to
they're
say.
like, oh, man.
Oh, yeah, buddy, 25,
Menard,
Mr.
whatever.
Menard. Had to be like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Here's Here comes 98. He swung whenever Sheeran was catching the ball again. It was like, oh, man, never mind. This is not fun.
Yeah.
This is real baseball.
We were about to have a good time.
This
is not a good
4-2,
time.
bases loaded. Oh, the booger's coming.
And credit to Devin Sheeran, looked excellent last night.
He did.
He absolutely looked excellent.
Need to see me get on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah. Jay Johnson also talked about Cooper Moore in the postgame last night. We'll play that soundbite via our guy John Eads, who put it out on social media. Jay talking about the LSU weekend starter as he's recovering from injury. He gave some more details on kind of what this week has looked like and maybe the expectations moving forward for the Kansas transfer that has been very, very impressive for LSU so far this season. So here's Jay talking about Cooper Moore.
Well, he threw today. Drew a good report with the throwing today on the mound. So that's good. Now, it's more about how he probably feels the next 2 days. So we'll see. I mean, I hope he can contribute. You know, he threw strikes. He's got multiple pitches. He's a confident guy, but it probably has more to do with what's coming the next couple of days because it was an aggressive or 100% throwing, session bullpen today. So he's on track, but we'll know more the next couple of days.
So nothing new. They tested some things out yesterday morning, but obviously the coming days through the remainder of the week will tell you what you need to know about Cooper Moore and what this weekend could potentially hold for him. So definitely something to keep an eye on for LSU baseball as they face Texas A&M at home this weekend in Alec Box. So we'll take a quick break here, come back to close out hour number one with Jacques Doucet, the sports director at WFB 9 Sports, right after this.
Wardo's was created in honor of Alan Ward Branning III, fondly known by family and friends as Wardo. In 2019, the oldest brother of the tribe passed away unexpectedly. His remaining siblings and loved ones wanted to honor his memory in a special way. In 2022, Ward's family decided to combine the need for a sandwich shop in downtown Natchez with a desire to pay tribute to Ward's love of good friends, good times, and great food. Through blood, sweat, tears, and countless hours of hard work, Wardo's was born. So go visit Wardo's today at 309 North Broadway Street in Natchez, where the po' boys are so good, you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
Hey, Miss Lou, come visit us, Tom and Wright Granding at Go Martin on the Go Deli.
Go Martin has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need.
Located at the corner of Highland Boulevard and Highway 61 South in Natchez.
Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff,
where everyone is family.
When it comes to your home, the roof over your head matters. At CAS Roofing, we don't just install shingles, we build peace of mind. With years of experience and a commitment to craftsmanship, our team shows up on time, gets the job done right, and treats every project like it's our own home. Whether it's a repair, a replacement, or a storm damage that caught you off guard, CAS Roofing is ready. We're local, we're dependable, and we stand behind every nail, every shingle, and every promise we make. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about roofing, it's about protecting what matters most. CAS Roofing, built on trust, backed by quality.
All right, welcome back here as we close out hour number 1 here on this Wednesday morning. And like every other Wednesday, we are joined by the best in the business, Jacques Doucet, the sports director over at WFB. Make some time for us in the middle of the week, every single week. Your Wednesday morning is Tingle & Co. and Jacques Doucet as he joins us to talk all things LSU athletics. JD, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Got him? Here we go. Plugged in. JD?
Yeah, can you hear me?
There we go. Now we got you. Had some technical difficulties there. Thank you for making some time for us this morning.
No problem at all. Good to be with you guys.
Oh, we appreciate it. We will start with football yesterday. Technically Saturday and yesterday. Get to see the entirety of some practices. Also hear from the head coach. Obviously Saturday, I was there. The offense was a little lackluster, but from what I've heard, had a better day yesterday. What were your takeaways from the last 2 practices you've seen from Lane Kiffin and LSU?
Yeah, first of all, I appreciate Coach Kiffin letting us watch the scrimmage in Tiger Stadium Saturday and letting us watch practice Tuesday. And I think that on Saturday, the quarterbacks, you talk about Hassan Longstreet and Landon Clark. I think Clark was intercepted 3 times. Longstreet was picked off a couple of times. Some passes that were just thrown high and off the mark. As Coach Kiffin talked about yesterday with Clark in terms of going from Elon to LSU, things you get away with in the past and bad habits maybe you have in the past when you start playing against SEC competition, all those things get magnified for the worse. But I think that despite the offensive struggles, there were some positive things. I think every time Harlem Berry touched the ball, he seemed to make some good things happen, whether they handed them the ball or threw them the ball. I think that could be a perfect marriage, Harlem Berry and Lane Kiffin's offense, what he could do. You saw Winnie Watkins make some big plays in the passing game, an explosive wide receiver. It's unfortunate Aiden Anding made 2 great interceptions. There was one that was thrown deep, I guess, in the double coverage down near the goal line, and he ripped the ball away from the receiver to make 1 pick, and a little bit later he jumped the route out in the flat and intercepted another pass. And then when he did intercept that second pass, that's when the Achilles injury happened. So it was unfortunate to see him suffer that injury. The tight end, big number 12, is it Malachi Thomas? Is that his name?
Yes, Malachi Thomas.
Yeah, when big number 12, when he caught the ball and started lumbering, I immediately thought of Marcus Colston with the Saints, wearing the same number and about the same size. So that was a nice play that they ran for a catch and score. The Dylan Jones running back, I think, is maybe being more of a factor than we expected, or I don't know what we expected, but they see number 13 there. They seem to be using him in a lot of different ways, throwing in the ball, catching the ball, shotgun snaps to him. So that's interesting. And then who's the running back? Gage?
Stacey Gage.
Stacey Gage. Yeah, Stacey Gage. He got the ball, I think, at the 13-yard line. He turned the corner. He sprinted into the end zone for a touchdown. So that was a good play. I think Deshaun Spears from Denham Springs, he made some plays. He was active. Yep. Interesting to see what's going to happen with him this year. There was a moment in practice yesterday where Coach Kiffin came and put his arm around him and gave him some coaching. And so obviously your most important piece, your most expensive piece, the piece that the team revolves around. Sam Leavitt is not practicing. He's not participating. He's watching. So you take everything, I guess, with a grain of salt to an extent. Coach Kiffin reiterated yesterday that I think it was Charlie Weiss Jr. told him, look, Coach, you're going to have some frustrating moments in the spring because your starting quarterback's not out there, and it's going to take a little while to get things going. And as far as Kiffin's comments in terms of, you just have to, listen to people who know what they're talking about and not get too much attention to people who just fire off on these platforms. But I don't think he's trying to minimize expectations by what he's saying at the podium. I think he's being truthful that the fact that they threw 60 new players together, they've got all these new coaches, they've got a new offensive system. It's going to take some time for them to hit the ground running and get their chemistry down and so forth, especially when they're practicing against the defense that the entire coaching staff is basically back, and there's a lot of key players there. So, those are some takeaways that I got. I mean, I went to the coaches clinic the other day at LSU. I tweeted some of this stuff that, I was just kind of small chat with some assistants, and now when they practice and they go teams, they've got 2 fields going at one time instead of one, and that means that you're, instead of getting 22 players work at the same time, obviously you're getting 44 players at the same time. And I was told guys like Keelan Moses and some others have already gotten more reps and gotten more work than they got all of last year because of the way they do things. So they obviously are working very fast and working smart, and it's a new energy out there for sure.
Obviously one of the difficult things when you're at spring camp or fall camp and you're watching a team scrimmage and go up against one another, sometimes it can be hard to gauge, is the offense really bad or is the defense really good, or vice versa. As much as there were some offensive struggles, I still think when you look at this defense, it's going to be a really good group that Blake Baker has going into 2026, right?
Yeah, I know Benefield, they're very, very high on him, the safety. I was small chat with somebody. I said, man, he's a monster, huh? And they were like, monster might be an understatement. They also think he's a real good person, real good leader back there in the secondary. And, I think that in terms of the defense, when you watch practice, the defensive linemen, that was my question yesterday, I think they look more like LSU. They look more like 2011 in terms of, who they're putting in the trenches and whatnot. There's some big bodies and whatnot, but he called it still a work in progress. I think some people might have been surprised that he said that the offensive line has made the most improvement out of any group out there. Of course, as football players know, the defense kind of knows what's coming. They're running the same plays over and over again, so it's easier to anticipate and to make some plays there. But obviously, I think a lot of eyes are going to be there on the LSU offensive line, because that's, obviously they were the most ridiculed bunch on the team a year ago, if I'm not mistaken. That combined with an injured quarterback, and LSU obviously didn't go very far. So how can that group come together and pass block and open up the running game and so forth is key. But yeah, to your point, Blake Baker's back to lead the defense, and it's kind of like surgery. These things are all attached, right? You Blake Baker, Jake Olson, Kevin Peoples, Corey Raymond. We interviewed DJ Pickett last week. He's coming back for his sophomore season, and Pickett talked about, hey, I might have been a freshman All-American and gotten these accolades. But Corey Raymond doesn't tell me the good; he only tells me the bad. And I guess pathway to success as a sophomore isn't through praise. I'm sure these coaches feel like these guys get plenty of praise on social media and other places when they do well. So that's not their job. But yeah, I'm excited about the defense. A buddy of mine told me, he's like, man, this season opener against Clemson is going to be one of the toughest tickets in LSU history. Everyone's going to want to be there for a true season opener in Tiger Stadium, not against a directional school or whatever. I mean, you're playing a big name team in Tiger Stadium. It's kind of a throwback to when I was a kid, when you would, go and see them open against Texas A&M or something like that, where it's a big name school to lead off the season. So that's exciting.
And then in the press conference, Lane, was asked about Nick Saban, and because to me, one of the position groups I think there's a lot of attention on now, especially after Aiden Anning's injuries, the cornerback room, where you see the depth maybe drop off a little bit where you're losing pieces and you don't really have the depth you used to. And a lot of times that can bring up conversations of, well, do you move a safety there? Do you move a receiver there? And, a lot of conversation around, like back when Nick was at LSU and he's moving Marcus Spears from tight end to defensive line, and you're moving Corey Webster from wide receiver to corner. What are some of your thoughts on that, on those sorts of situations, and maybe some of the memories from those days when you could see a coach like Saban say, hey, look, you're really good at tight end, but we think you'll help us more here?
Yeah, I think that was certainly one thing covering those teams back then that people would talk very positively about Saban, the fact that he could spot things, make guys change positions, and get them the most money and the longest career in the NFL. Certainly at the beginning of his career, like you said, Marcus Spears was a tight end. And then by the end of his career, he showed off good hands to make an interception and against Oklahoma in the national championship and run it into the end zone there. Played another year after that. I think before Saban got there, Josh Reed was a running back. They shifted him to wide receiver and kept him there, and the rest is history when it comes to Reed. We're going to be doing something on that in the coming months and year. When you look at stats in the history of LSU football, Josh Reed is the best wide receiver in LSU history. He doesn't get credit for 2 of his bowl games because they didn't keep stats on bowls back then. But that was a big move. Let's see. Like you said, Corey Webster, I think in the game at Alabama in 2001, when Rohan Davey throws for 528, he threw a bomb down the sideline to Corey Webster, who made a big catch, and obviously shifted him to defensive back. We thought that he had intercepted the final pass in Brett Favre's career. I think it was in the 2008 NFC Championship game in the freezing cold. Favre obviously came back and played for a couple more teams after that, but yeah, I think that's sometimes tough love from a coach to tell a player, hey, look, you're not as good here. You should be here instead. I think one guy that comes up with a lot is Lamar Brown. I mean, from what I've heard coaches say, they're like, this guy could be an all-pro or all-SEC or on the offensive line. He's that good, but he doesn't want to play offensive line. He wants to play defensive line. So that's an interesting conversation right there. So, but yeah, Saban had that knack of switching players over. I mean, I would hear the conversations that when Glenn Big Baby Davis was playing basketball, I think Saban saw him and said something like, this guy could play 10 years in the NFL as an offensive lineman or as a tight end or something like that. He had very unusual quicks for his size, big soft hands, that type of thing. So, yeah, get me to the league, Coach.
There you go. How many similarities do you see between Nick and Lane? Obviously, different personalities, but for someone that coached underneath Nick and attributes so much of his now success to learning from Nick Saban, how many similarities do you see in Kiffin, whether it's speaking or coaching, since he's been at LSU?
Well, when they speak, they both use their hands a lot. They have very similar mannerisms in that regard. I think in many ways, Lane Kiffin and Nick Saban are nothing alike. I mean, if Twitter existed back in 2001, 2, 3, 4, Nick Saban would not be posting the things that Lane Kiffin posts. Or, Nick Saban was always extremely respectful towards his opponent. Would never give the other team any kind of bulletin board material. And not that Kiffin does that, but Kiffin likes to, he likes to have fun on there and kind of poke fun and joke around. I don't see Saban ever doing that. He's still not on social media from what I've seen. I don't think Saban has an X account. But the biggest comparison, I think, is just the age between the two and the fact that they were both known as kind of job hoppers to this point. Saban's career didn't really take off and soar until he was paired with LSU. I think his first national championship came when he was 52 years old. Lane Kiffin is 50, taking this job. Saban had been at Toledo as a head coach. He had been at Michigan State. He had been, obviously an assistant coach with the Cleveland Browns and Belichick. Kiffin has bounced around jobs, although I think similar to Saban at Michigan State, he stayed at one job for a nice 5-6 year period, made them a winner, had his best team when he left. I think Michigan State, when Saban left, that was his best team. They went 10-2 that year. And Kiffin, obviously, this was the best team he had at Ole Miss. They made the playoffs and won a couple of games. So I think now, entering his 50s, he's learned, he's succeeded, he's tripped and fallen. Like many of us around that age, we feel like, I think the 50s are described as your golden, your golden years to an extent when you really come into your own. And I think that, he's got the ultimate job. No offense to Ole Miss, but this is the best job he's ever had. I know he coached at USC with the Trojans. A lot of great tradition there. Heisman Trophy winners, national championships. John Robinson, right? We got to know him here in Baton Rouge, but they were kind of limping on probation and some other things. So this is his best opportunity entering, some years where he should be a lot wiser than he was in the past when, get your popcorn ready and throw in the headsets and all that. So I think that we'll see. We'll see if the devil pops up on his shoulder or not. But I think those are the biggest comparisons right there: age and what they've learned in their previous stops.
And you put out a tweet, I believe it was yesterday, that you kind of made a comparison to what his experience at LSU is, and this is what you've said. From what I've gathered, Lane Kiffin was initially a bit taken back by how many media cover LSU football and how bright the spotlight is on the program. But it's clear he's getting more comfortable with each press conference and delivering his message. I thought that was a very astute observation because the first kind of presser you saw Lane Kiffin, the introductory press conference where he comes in, it did feel a little get me to the football part of it and get me to where if I can maybe land a joke here, I'll get a little bit more comfortable. Now he's kind of attacking the press conferences with a bit more gusto. Obviously, I think we're all finding out together. If you tweet Lane Kiffin and LSU in the same sentence, Ole Miss comes calling. But you did talk about the other jobs, and obviously that's what they feel like is, I guess, a shot at Ole Miss. It just happens to be the truth. But what have you seen in Lane Kiffin and his approach maybe at the pressers, and I guess your first foray into what this Ole Miss LSU rivalry will look like, even after you saw what happened at baseball in Oxford?
Yeah. Well, I in a platform that is often just negative and just so nasty, and we're seeing that now with the, Rossini-Vrabel thing going on, I was just trying to pay the guy a compliment and say, look, he's he seems more comfortable. I thought yesterday's presser was the most comfortable he had looked. We're doing a certain piece that's going to be coming out in the next few weeks that involves Michael Bonnet. Bonnet told us, and that's where I got it from. Maybe I should have changed the words from taken back to blown away, but Bonnet told us that when he got to his initial press conference, he looked around and was amazed by how many people were there, how many media was there. And then when he had his signing day press conference right before spring, he turned to Bonnet and said, "Oh my, look at all these people here," And so I realized he'd been the coach of the Oakland Raiders, an NFL team. I realized he coached at USC and Tennessee, but I still think that anytime you switch jobs, there's a transition there. There's a getting comfortable with the job. I think, say what you want about Les Miles, but when he first got the job, he was definitely a fish out of water. He was, and then there was a point where he settled in and was winning 10, 11 games a year over a stretch and winning a national title and playing for another national title. So I think whatever coach comes here, I think there's an acclimation period. I got there was some nasty things, but then I looked, and every nasty came from a Pete Golding was in the name of the Twitter handle, or Landshark, or Oxford, or Rebel, or something along those lines. I was like, okay, this is what everyone's been talking about, right? So,
you sure it wasn't Laramie Tunsil Bongwater?
So yeah, exactly. Something to do with the Rebels and the Grove and Pete Golding, So I think John Eads told me, John wanted to go cover the LSU Ole Miss series. To his credit, he always wants to work more than he has to. And here's another thing that people don't realize. Sometimes they say, "Well, God, don't you feel stupid that you sent a guy to cover a series that LSU didn't win a game?" And I'm like, not at all, because that's when your job is more important, when the team isn't winning than when they are winning. That's when people like, hey, they want questions answered and what's going on and that type of thing. So I think, he did a great job over there as usual, but he told me, I think he tweeted something like, I think when Jake Brown hit the home run in the first series, or the first game of the series, John just kind of said something like, well, there's no beer in the air up in right field, right? They're not throwing beer. And these people found John on Twitter, and as he went to the games or whatever, I don't think it got nasty or bad, but they certainly jeered him, or a few of them knew who he was because of his tweet, and they were, all weekend retweeting, update, as Ole Miss won the series. So, September 19th, I think this much is clear. I am not going to wear a purple shirt that day. In the past, our WAP shirts, they're purple, and sometimes I'll wear like a gold. I don't want to say I'm a homer, but I wear the colors sometimes of the team I cover. That day, I think I need to go with a white shirt or something very neutral. So, because I think it's going to be, you think of football as a great activity that people get together and they tailgate and have a good time on a fall day and everyone smiles and happy. I think obviously the tone, and look, the tone of real life and going out and going to the gas station, going to get a bite to eat or whatever is much different than the tone of X. Right. But still, I think it's going to be, it's going to be, Verge joked with us about, I think he said it was the guys they sent into Iran to get that guy out or whatever. He was going to need those kind of military forces to go into Oxford. But, hopefully everyone gets along. But, that thing that happened in the stands, the guy punches the kid and all that. I mean, you should never throw a beer on somebody, although from what I understand, the guy he punched was not the guy that threw the beer on him. And so that is a student section in right field, huh? Yeah, he's a bit older. He's my age. Anyway.
Jack, I mean, you have to blame the security guard in this situation. He pointed out the wrong guy. I mean, it's not my fault if you tell me to hit this guy. I'm going to hit him. He did it. Well, okay, you can get one. Who else?
Yeah, the video was kind of funny. The guy in the yellow jacket, he moved very quickly, and he came to a complete stop. At that guy, and he just kind of looked up at him, and then here came Big Boy with the beer throwing the haymaker.
I just don't know what he thought was going to happen. Once he identified that man, he was basically a drug-seeking dog. It's like, it was this guy. It's like, oh, thank you. Boom. Like, if you don't do anything, he doesn't know who to hit. Instead, he was like, him. And he was like, thank you, got you, good night. And then I guess you wake up in jail on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm sure no judge did him any favors.
Yeah, I don't want to say negative things about anybody, but that can't be a good feeling, waking up in a jail the next day because I punched out a kid at a baseball game. I'm just it's not a good way. Not a good way to start my Sunday or Monday, whatever.
I mean, September 19th is going to be something. I like it. That I don't think anyone that saw that didn't come away from it going, that football game is going to be madness.
No, it's definitely, I don't want to say the LSU Alabama animosity has dropped off, and to be fair, I think that was much more on the LSU side of things than the Alabama side of things because of the whole Saban dynamic, and it dropped off a bit towards the end. Because Saban had been there so long, he had truly become the Alabama coach and not the ex-LSU coach, and LSU was fortunate enough to beat him a couple of times at the end of his career, so that kind of it kind of simmered down a bit there, but. This whole thing, and Kiffin leaving Ole Miss, and now you've got a stark contrast to Kiffin, in which Golding is really presenting himself as a red-blooded football guy.
Right.
I don't do yoga.
Mississippi through and through.
Mississippi through and through. I'm a football guy. I'm not interested in wine and cheese and yoga and all that, and
give me a cold one and cover 3.
right, exactly. Yeah, I kind of saw some of those clips or whatever, but and some of the stuff that they put out is factually true, but it's totally disingenuous. The whole Pete Golding's won 2 playoff games and Kiffin's won none.
Right,
I mean that is the ultimate manipulation of statistics.
Complete wrong perspective.
Factual information. The head coach that set the whole thing up, and so he doesn't get credit the second he steps away from it. Like 5 minutes. I mean, the whole team is. like I said, I remember Les Miles for 3 years in some people's minds didn't get any credit in his third year because he won with Nick Saban's players, as they said. You mean to tell me that Pete Golding is the mastermind behind all this? I get it. He's your coach now. You got to get behind him. So you got to put on a positive face. And who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. Ole Miss may beat LSU September 19th. But that's going to be one thing that did cross my mind is that I've been there many times over the years. The Ole Miss media room for the opposing coach after the game is tiny. It is so small. And they've got all these people jammed up in there. There is no way. With all the media exposure this game is going to get and all the people gathering, I don't know how they're going to use that room next year. I hope they find an alternative, but they probably won't. We'll see. I
also had the same thought when the lineups for SEC Media Days came out, and obviously Lane will be on that Thursday. But I have a feeling that will probably be the biggest attendance out of any of the pressers will be Lane Kiffin's LSU press conference on SEC Media Days.
Yeah, and they certainly didn't put LSU and Ole Miss on the same day either.
Right.
Yeah, they made sure to separate them. We've seen that over the years. I don't think, unless I'm wrong, I don't think they put Auburn and Alabama on the same day. They wouldn't put LSU and Alabama on the same day in years past. But yeah, you're right. I always joked that SEC Media Days was a bit like the Daytona 500. The biggest was first with us in terms, LSU would always go first, and then the next 3 days would be kind of anticlimactic because you'd be, from our perspective, covering the teams that LSU was going to play or maybe local players that play for another team. But in this case, you're going to have a build-up to LSU going on the final day. And, a new location this year in Tampa, Florida, which will be pretty nice, I think. I've enjoyed how they've kind of moved it around. Every year it used to be in Birmingham. They moved it to Atlanta a couple of times. We've now been to Nashville, Dallas, and now kind of like the NFL draft, they're moving it to different cities. And Florida in the summer, it'll be should be fun.
Very nice. Well, JD, we appreciate you. Make some time for us. What do y'all have coming up at WAFB?
Let's see. Kevin Baptiste was on the road yesterday. He's always done a great job covering LSU gymnastics. He traveled to Fort Worth yesterday, so obviously we've got the Tigers a preview today from Fort Worth of their practice and getting used to the equipment and the surroundings, and then he'll be covering them in the NCAA championships on Thursday. John Eads was, I think, the only local TV station in the post game last night from the Northwestern State win at the box as LSU finally gets off the schneid and breaks their losing streak. We'll have some of that, and I'm having my coffee and waking up, so I promise we'll have a lot of good stuff today. I had to sit down with Kylie Edwards yesterday from the LSU softball team. They
no hitter.
They went to UL Lafayette and beat the Cajuns 8-0 in 5 innings. Boy, they're hot like a pepper in Lafayette. I think they want to fire their former player there, who's now the head coach, Allison Habit. She's having a hard time over there. Yeah. But softball team is, a lot of people have beaten them up, and I understand the frustration. But their RPI is very high, and they're playing better lately, and they've got a big series against Ole Miss this weekend. So if they can get things in the right direction, they'll be hosting a regional again, I think.
Well, JD, we appreciate you. We'll talk to you again next Wednesday.
Okay, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. There he is. There's Jacques Doucet, the sports director over at WFB, the best in the business, and we appreciate him making some time for us every single Wednesday. All right, Chrissy, now it's your turn. I know it's going to have to be quick.
Well, I need prompted questions here.
You need prompted questions? You want me to just
run through the plays?
No, we don't have to run through the plays.
Usually you cut me off and ask me a question.
Of course. I'll just cut you off from the jump and ask you a question. So obviously,
let me slam on my brakes real quick.
Offense looked bad.
Did he cut you off? What a stretch.
Offense looked. I was there on Saturday. Offense didn't look very good. Was it a better day yesterday offensively?
Yeah.
When you saw him get to 7 on 7, 11 on 11.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I haven't been there for 10 practices in a row like I was in the fall and the spring, but I can imagine. I think yesterday probably was one of the offense's best days. And it wasn't just throwing the ball that looked good. They threw some interceptions, but it was just the run game. It was kind of weird going out to practice yesterday and actually seeing LSU run the ball effectively for the first time in 2-3 years. you saw holes open up. You saw defensive players having to get out in space and actually make tackles to prevent a big gain. You saw Harlem Berry take one to the crib from, it looked like 35 yards out on a big hole opened up on the right side of the offensive line. It was a lot of cutback lanes. You saw Dylan Jones specifically in cutback lanes. I saw Stacey Gage score 3 touchdowns, 1 on a cutback on the goal line. And then also Harlem Berry likes to utilize the cutback lane. So I don't know if they were necessarily counter plays.
They're just making a read.
Yeah, I don't even know if you can even go into that with Lane not wanting us to talk about schematics, but it could be. But it was a lot of reads.
Players making plays. To me, the short yardage from after we spoke yesterday and what I've read through from practice is obviously something that stands out because it has been so bad. When you go back to the Oklahoma game last year, Harold Perkins doesn't score on the pick 6, and you're like, well, now they're not going to score.
Yeah.
And so yesterday, I think they did some short yardage stuff.
Well, and I was going to ask, are you talking about for this regime of LSU, or are you talking about past regimes?
No, I'm saying in the past it's been bad.
I would say this. I don't think I've seen that much goal line, that much 3rd and 1, 2nd and 1, whatever. Because I've only been out there 4 times, but I would say yesterday they had no issue picking up 1, 2, 3 yards when they needed 1. So,
and I think that should be.
I don't know how much we saw them practice goal line.
Pretty reassuring.
We saw it a good bit because that was where Harold Perkins would make his plays. I was like, remember the interception in the back of the end zone? Like, I felt like that was where Perkins really shined.
We saw it some, but I think one of the bigger concerns was you would see them fail.
That's what I don't know how much we saw goal line, and it wasn't
how much success we saw.
Right, and when you did see it, it became more and more headstrong. I'm talking about last year.
Yep.
Like you would see it, they would line up, and there was no change. There was no impetus of change of let's see what you could do schematically to draw something up that's different. It was run it right at you, and then that would be that. And it's like, well, good. That's what knock his block off. That's what you have to do. You have to be physical in the goal line. They're trying to learn how to do that. It never came to fruition.
No, I mean, I remember one time.
Same thing with Caden Durham, Vanderbilt?
Yeah.
He gets stopped at the 1, he's not scoring. Like, LSU won't score a touchdown here, and they immediately shoot themselves in the foot.
And you could see that early in the season, especially if you were at fall camp, when they would put Xavion Thomas in Wildcat, and it wouldn't go fucking anywhere.
Right. You'd have to. You were trying to force those things out. I mean, I remember the offensive line one time, because there was a defensive penalty, so they were walking up to like the 2-yard line. They're going like, and they're clapping, and they got blown up, and the run
so sad.
Nothing happened. They're like, that sucks. And from what I've heard and what you said, it sounds like that has changed, and they've had more of an ability to get push and get in. Wide receivers who stood out yesterday from that group. Obviously, I think Winnie Watkins up to this point has probably been the one. Him and Roman Mothershed have impressed the most. I think Watkins, because he's so comfortable in the system, and he is very good. And then Roman Mothershed is just a freak. But I know Trey Wilson was in the mix yesterday. Eugene Wilson III from Florida. Who were some of the guys that stood out at that spot?
Yesterday we actually saw a little bit of freshman Corey Barber. I noticed he had a few catches in the game in their scrimmages and whatnot.
5-star out of Alabama.
Phillip Wright staying solid. He's been having a good camp. Roman Mothershed, I have a thread the needle over the middle to him from Hassan Longstreet. And then Jace Brown.
He also caught a slant and took one to the house from Mothershed.
Yes. And then I have Jace Brown busted coverage touchdown.
There you go.
He didn't just score there. He had a just like a go route up the seam that scored early in 11-on-11. They ran the ball twice before, and then they hit Jace Brown. It was like 2 big run plays, and then they snapped it. I think it was a play action, and Jace Brown was wide open over the seam.
Yeah. Defensively, who were some of the guys that stood out on that side of the ball? Obviously, I feel like that side has impressed the most up to this point. You've been able to get the most highlights from it. But who are some of the guys that caught your eye on the defensive side of the ball? Obviously, big number 40 right here.
Yesterday, it was kind of hard to pick somebody specifically. You saw Haven Finney get reps,
which I think
in replacement for, I guess, Aiden Andy.
Yeah, not to cut you off, I was about to say. I think he's going to be a very vital piece because Lane talked about it in the presser, and we'll get to some of the press conference stuff as well. Shout out to Poach. Thank you, Poji, for cutting those clips up. But Aiden Anning was going to be firmly in the mix, but Lane also talked about with freshmen, you don't recruit them unless you have a plan on how to use them in your first year, because you want to make sure, because they can just leave. They're not going to stick it through 4 years. And I think with Finney, not that I think there's any threat of anything, but you get them because you have a plan. And so with Finney now, that plan might be on the fast track because there's opportunity in front. So it's good to hear that he's out there making plays, maybe getting in the mix a little bit more, because he might be vitally important with the loss of Anding.
Mm-hmm.
What
Well,
about quarterbacks? What do they look like?
quarterbacks.
Yeah, we're watching them here, but
I would say. I mean, you said it last week. There's a reason why there's $5 million sitting on the sideline. But I would say actually yesterday there was a lot of promise from specifically Hassan Longstreet.
Yeah.
I found that Landon Clark, I find, is a little bit more consistent, but I found Hassan Longstreet didn't always make the right decision and had some incompletions. But the throws that he made that were good throws were like elite level throws. There was one he layered over the middle to 88, who is Malik Elzy.
Yep.
Over the middle, defender kind of draped on him, puts it over his shoulder, catches it. And then you also saw a Jace Brown touchdown, like I said, over the seam, hits him in stride. And then and then he threaded the needle. I mean, like two defenders crashing underneath Roman Mothershed, crashing in on the ball. It slips through. Roman Mothershed catches it. He doesn't score, but it was like it was a 15-yard gain. So Hassan Longstreet had the best day out of the two. And then obviously the other quarterbacks, Piccarella, who I don't think we need to get much into.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's good to hear that the offense was able to bounce back somewhat, because it was rough on Saturday. Like, I don't think that's a surprise to anybody when you just hear the number of 5 interceptions in that game. I mean, that is.
And I wouldn't even just say bounce back. The offense, by and far, won the day yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, I mean the offense, and it's not even just because the quarterbacks played better. I would simply say that the run game worked yesterday.
Yeah,
they ran the ball,
and that is going to be vitally important. And a Lane Kiffin offense always, but now getting at LSU, I mean, you have to be able to run the ball. I don't think it's any coincidence that the best team Lane Kiffin has ever fielded had a running back with 20 touchdowns. You know, like where the best player was the running back. Like that's how important the run game is. Like for a Lane Kiffin offense.
Like our friend AYS Blake Ruffino says, they fucking knocked their block off yesterday.
There you go, and that's good. I love hearing that the offensive line's getting pushed, because it's not like the defensive line are a bunch of pushovers, right?
No,
like they're not talented. I'm reading through some of the stuff here. I mean, Weston Davis in one-on-ones against Dylan Carpenter and Jordan Ross wins both of them. I mean, that's quite nice to hear after last season. So, thank you, Christian, for your hard work.
Jordan Ross interception yesterday.
Jordan Ross interception.
Little Lloyd's famous drop the edge back in coverage, pick it off. Nuss would fall for it every time.
That's right.
Landon Clark, a little bit of the same.
What are you doing standing right there? You're not supposed to be there.
You're supposed to be rushing.
Yeah, you don't do that.
Silly goose.
What are you doing on the underneath route? Oh, shit.
No, right
but
to
good
you.
job, Christian. Thank
Camera's
you very
flipping.
much for getting out there. We'll get to what Lane Kiffin had to say after practice yesterday. After we take a quick break here, come back with more Tingle and Co. right after this.
I want you and Lane to be best friends, Chrissy.
All right. Push. We have to go.
Wardos was created in honor of Alan Ward Granning III, fondly known by family and friends as Wardo. In 2019, the oldest brother of the tribe passed away unexpectedly. His remaining siblings and loved ones wanted to honor his memory in a special way. In 2022, Ward's family decided to combine the need for a sandwich shop in downtown Natchez with a desire to pay tribute to Ward's love of good friends, good times, and great food. Through blood, sweat, tears, and countless hours of hard work, Wardo's was born. So go visit Wardo's today at 309 North Broadway Street in Natchez, where the po' boys are so good, you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
Hey, Miss Lou, come visit us, Tom and Wright Granding at Go Martin on the Go Deli.
Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need.
located at the corner of Highland Boulevard and Highway 61 South in Natchez.
Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff.
Where everyone is family.
When it comes to your home, the roof over your head matters. At CAS Roofing, we don't just install shingles, we build peace of mind. With years of experience and a commitment to craftsmanship, our team shows up on time, gets the job done right, and treats every project like it's our own home. Whether it's a repair, a replacement, or a storm damage that caught you off guard, CAS Roofing is ready. We're local, we're dependable, and we stand behind every nail, every shingle, and every promise we make. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about roofing, it's about protecting what matters most. CAS Roofing, built on trust, backed by quality.
All right, welcome back here. Hour number 2 on this Wednesday morning. We appreciate everybody hanging out with all of us, starting your morning with us every single day. And we appreciate JD for making some time for us this morning. Also, Christian, some good stuff as he was at practice today. He'll be back out there tomorrow.
Bless you.
Thank you very much. And we're going to listen to what Lane Kiffin has to say.
You think you're allergic to dogs?
No. I think I just had to sneeze.
Okay.
Because Lane Kiffin spoke with the media after practice had a press conference, as he does every single Tuesday, to discuss the current state of LSU. Obviously, a lot to talk about after Saturday and yesterday, where the media got to see the entirety of a couple of practices and have a handful of questions. And I thought there were some obviously really good answers, really eye-opening answers in the press conference yesterday where he met with the media. I want to start with the one about Dylan Jones. When you talk, it's clip number 4. When you talk about this running back room, there's one guy that looks a little bit different than everybody else. And I don't think that was an accident, and I think yesterday proved that it wasn't. In short yardage, from everything I've heard and read, Dylan Jones was dominant. And I think that, I don't think it takes a genius to figure out, you got a bunch of smaller, stronger running, smaller, faster running backs potentially. And then you go get a guy, Dylan Jones, who's stocky, bigger, stronger. Like I said, when you see number 13 for the first time, I don't know when it'll be, if you haven't seen it on the videos, when I first walked out there's a guy that catches your eye, and his number 13 is Dylan Jones from Wisconsin. This is Lane Kiffin talking about the running back transfer and potentially where he slides in for LSU this year.
Yeah, it's a good observation. He looks really good, has come in and been good in protection, been good in his vision, his feet, running the ball, and has been really a bright spot. Like I said, we're offensively, we've struggled to find those. And obviously, again, the tackling part, is a difference in that position specifically. But for a guy that wasn't a headliner, he's played like it. And that's really critical, because that spot is extremely critical to have somebody or a number of people that, again, just like the quarterback spot, makes the plays and everybody's not blocked up and makes the significant plays. And he's done that in the situation we've been in.
There is Lane Kiffin talking about Wisconsin running back transfer Dylan Jones, who I think is going to be a key part of this team. I think there's a handful of running backs that have stood out. Obviously, Caden Durham and Harlan Berry. I think the name that you can't not say after them is Dylan Jones. I also think Stacey Gage has looked really good. But the one that's different is Dylan Jones, just because of his makeup and the type of back he's going to be. Next is clip number 5. Speaking of that run game, the offensive line is the position group that you are expecting and hoping to see the biggest improvement, because if there's not an improvement, that means you were really bad there, because a year ago you were really, really bad from an offensive line standpoint. And so you would like to see a big-time improvement for LSU there, and I think you will, and I think you already have. And this is Lane Kiffin talking about the progress he's seen from that offensive line so far through spring.
Is right now. Yeah, I think that offensively position has probably developed the best, through a couple weeks. And, has played well together. And in my opinion is dramatically improved from when we got here. And so that's probably been the one bright spot, as you re-looked at the film. Now again, I got to be, like I said, I have really high standards and expectations, and we're not tackling, so that obviously creates more yards because there's missed tackles within a game, and you feel a little better. But I think the offensive line is coming along really well.
Obviously, very good to hear the offensive line coming along the way they are. I really do feel like you have 4 spots solidified: left tackle, center, right guard, and at this point, I think right tackle as well with Weston Davis. So I think currently you have 4 of your 5 spots in a really, really comfortable spot where it stands. And then obviously clip number 6, him talking about the offense and defense progress and evaluations, where you can see different things that you see from both sides of the ball up to this point, because it is, like he said yesterday, it's interesting. It's your team against your team. And I think the most eye-opening part on what is actually coming of these battles between LSU versus LSU is what the coaches see. I can tell you what I see, but it's what Lane Kiffin says, where he sees the progress is truly, even if maybe the offense won the day yesterday, that doesn't mean the defense is just, or coming off a Saturday where the offense was just bad and turning the ball over and all those things, they see other things, right? They see it differently. This is Lane Kiffin talking about the progress he's seen on both sides of the football so far through spring camp.
Yeah, I mean, that's really a question I go over all day, thinking about. And, you guys were there Saturday, most of you, I assume. And whenever you're analyzing your team, you're playing against each other. So one side's bad, it's usually the other side's good. But, that was discouraging in the moment Saturday, offensively. The way that we played, the lack of explosive plays, the lack of plays made in competitive situations. So that's discouraging, not where I would expect to be, but I also have extremely high expectations. Nobody has higher expectations for us as a program than myself. Charlie reminds me that, when we made a decision to sign Sam, that this was going to be part of it, that you weren't going to feel as good in the spring because he wasn't going to be available, so you don't have your quarterback, you don't have arguably your top receiver out there. And so, but there's a lot of work to do there. It doesn't happen overnight. If I told him, you can't think just because you sign the #1 portal class and you come in here that, you're going to the national championship. And it didn't work that way, and study time, it didn't work that way. It didn't work that way last year with the #1 class. So when I say there's a lot of work to do, that's not talking about years, that's not buying time, it's none of that. It's just saying there's a lot of work to do when you come into a program and you've got to change a lot of things when you take over, and not just offensively, but the whole culture of a program takes some time. And as you get guys, it's the middle of spring, we don't play a game, luckily, today. But on the other side of things, I would say our defense, is doing a great job. And some of those pieces had returned in the system, coaches' familiarity with each other, and the additions, that showed up Saturday. You see 2 elite edge rushers that just got here, an elite linebacker and an elite safety. Those are critical playmakers that made a lot of plays Saturday and gave the offense a lot of problems.
The end of that clip where he's talking about the process and a little bit more of that patience, to me, I don't understand how anyone listens to that and thinks he is trying to take pressure off or push things to next season, because that's not what he's saying. Now, if you just read a quote, maybe you could hear it that way, but he literally, in this soundbite, says, when I talk about a work in progress, I'm not talking about years, because he's not. This team you have right now is not built to build over 3 years and then be really good in 2028. The team you have right now is built to be good in 2026. And so I don't understand how anyone can listen to that and get upset and say, why is he telling us to wait? Why is he telling us this is a work in progress? You should be good right now. If that offense could arrive and on day one be a top 5 group, like I'm talking day one of spring practice, be just a unit that's balling and dominant, then they've worked some kind of magic, because it's literally an expansion team. It's a bunch of guys from a bunch of different places that are that are seniors, juniors, graduates, freshmen, sophomore, that have never played a snap of football together and are now on a team. And now, like Lane said, there's a work in progress. That is a process to get them to a point to be effective. That's why you are happy that you're not playing a game today and it's spring camp, because you need that to build to that point. He's not saying, hey, don't put a lot of pressure on this year. We're not built to be successful right now. Give us a couple of years and we'll build from there. No. He knows that. He knows that this isn't a year that you can just chalk up to a developmental year. Jordan Seaton and Sam Leavitt are not developmental players.
They're here for 1 year.
They're here for a year. And they could be here for more than one. That's not the goal. That's not why they came here. They didn't come here to be 2-year guys. They came here to win. You paid them to win. And so the process, the work in progress is getting that unit, getting that side of the ball to a position where it can be effective. That's all he's saying. He's saying it's not going – I'm not talking years. I'm talking spring and fall camp because you need to be ready week 1. But you also have the benefit of keeping Blake Baker and having a really good defense that, guess what? You might have a couple of games that you can work through some of the kinks and get some things right. Smooth some of those rough edges. Get Sam Leavitt comfortable in the system that he may or may not get he doesn't get the full spring experience of. Because your defense is good enough, and I believe will be good enough that it gives you the time to work through some issues if they're there. But the pushback that
they ain't working,
that they're not working, or that Lane's trying to take pressure off of this season, no.
Yeah, you're not working out at 9:20 at night if you expect to have a developmental year. Ribbon Mothershed, they all didn't come here for that.
Right.
And it's obviously if you're Lane, look at what just happened. Look at all around what's happened at LSU for people that thought they had time. Brian Kelly, you didn't have as much time as you thought. Matt McMahon, you didn't have as much time as you thought. You got fired. And it's not because you didn't do a great – it's not because you didn't do a good job. It's because you didn't do a great job. You were fine. But you don't have the luxury of time, and certainly when you go and spin the way that they did, and you have a $40 million roster as everybody is starting to run with, like that's the narrative. I don't think you put $40 million into a roster to go, oh, look, I'm just letting y'all know this is a learning process. It can take a couple years. No, it's 100% him going, look, we're not as good as I think we should be right now, but that's okay because we're going to figure it out. He said we have to.
Literally nobody on the planet has higher expectations for this football team than I do.
Now,
I built it.
I will say it is a great way to give yourself an out if that's what you want to do, which I don't think he's trying to do, but it is. If you want to take that narrative and run with it that way and say, I told y'all this is going to be a development thing, I don't think that's what he's doing, but it is a way to spin it that way if you want to. Like if you go out and you lose 3 of your first 4, like I told y'all we're trying to develop this and we put together this whole new roster. It's going to take time. I said it was going to take time.
Well, funny enough, I think that the expectation nationally is for it to fail.
Yeah, well, I think that's what they want.
I think a lot of people expect, because it's never been done that a team gets thrown through the portal year 1 and makes a run at a national championship. It's never happened.
Right. And I know 2 different sports, but Michigan just did it with 5 transfer players.
Of course. And it's the first time it's ever been done.
I think you're just starting to see, and they're kind of in a similar situation to what LSU football is. Like new coach, all new players, and you come together like, oh, this thing is going to work. I think you're starting to see the type of transfer portal player that you get and the experience of adding portal players. Like, this is kind of how you do it, as opposed to, like, you can have a recipe for that success.
Right.
And Lane Kiffin has been building through the portal ever since he's been a head coach at Ole Miss. Like, this is how he's done it. Since it's been available to him, this is how he's done it. I do think he has a bit of a process.
100%.
Instead of, like, I don't know how this is – it felt like, BK, I don't know how this is going to go. Because I haven't done it like this before. I know how to coach if I have developed and recruited and older guys. For him, it was drinking out of a water hose because like we added some new talent. Hopefully, I think they're just good. Well, instead of me being like, this is the process of what happens when you add a portal team together.
He also called the identifying of the talent in the portal, the scouting, their specialty. And I think I believe that what he's put together all has a process and nothing was just throwing it at the wall to build this team. You don't go get Roman Mothershed if you didn't have some sort of idea of what you were going to be able to do with him. I mean, he had 18 catches.
Right.
It's not like he was just this standout must-get Jordan Seaton type wide receiver, where Jordan Seaton's what you're getting at left tackle. A lot of these wide receivers, you'll see how a Jace Brown can translate to an SEC offense. But they identified something they liked about it.
At 6'4", 210 pounds.
Roman Mothershed, I mean, that's outstanding. I mean, and he runs 20 miles per hour. You're not getting better than that. But I think the expectation is you can't do that. Like, I think that's the outlook for a lot of people when they look at a team like this. They go, well, you can't do that. You can't build a team through the portal and win. That's not how this works. You have to be Ohio State in 2024 where you've built your team. You just plug. We don't have a quarterback. Okay, Will Howard, come on down. What you thought LSU was doing with their roster last year. Oh, you have a quarterback. Well, let's plug a couple of pieces in some roles we think are going to be really good. And you did that successfully in some spots. Not every spot.
I don't think it's so much that you built so much through the portal. I think it's more so that it's year one and you've done it through the portal. Because you've seen teams be successful building through the portal. But where I think LSU differs here is, like you mentioned, Michigan. And the other example I'll give is like Indiana in football. In year one in Indiana, they built largely through the portal. And they went 11-1.
Right.
But they didn't give Cignetti, I think, the leeway right away to say, like, we're going to spend enough money to build a national championship team. They went 11-1 with maybe a little bit of an undervalued route, and they say, whoa, we got something here. Like, let's put all of our financial chips in this basket, and let's go win a national championship. They did it. They know Curt Cignetti's now probably the best coach in college football, and I think Michigan kind of did the same thing. We'll have a good year one. Dusty May's a good coach, and then after year one, they say, let's turn this thing up, and you're going all out for year two. LSU has gone all out in year one, which I don't know that you've ever seen that before, to this extent, at least, from any program or any coach, and I think it's because LSU trusts Lane Kiffin. They're saying, we see you've done this in the portal. Mm-hmm. Do it here.
You don't have to prove it to me first.
No, I don't need.
Proved it
You got your leeway. Like, your stock is as high as it could possibly ever be. Until you win a national championship, your stock will not get any higher with us. We've seen you do this through the portal. Do it this year, right now. Just do it in Baton Rouge.
And I think a part of it is also the prove it to Lane Kiffin why you came to LSU. It's like a bit of a subtle flex of, you want 40, we can get you 40. You couldn't get that at Ole Miss.
Yeah. Right.
And so it's like, you want all of your stuff now? We can give you all. This is why you came here. It is different. Mm-hmm. You do have the resources that you thought you had, because even hearing Jacques Doucet talk about the press room at Ole Miss, he's like, that's not big enough. And then I just went and watched a video of the Manning Center of what they have, and it is not the same as what LSU has. Like, the facilities don't compare. Yeah. They have 2 jacuzzis. LSU has 10.
Right.
Like, it's just...
It's not the same monster.
No, it's not. Different. I mean, it's nice.
No, it is. It's a Division I SEC level program, 100%. I mean,
but LSU is a monolith.
That's why it's a promotion.
Better job.
That's why it's a promotion to go to LSU.
And then it's like, Jacques' tweet is undoubtedly, like, it's hilarious what he stepped into on accident, not knowing that if you just tweet about Lane Kiffin, you will get... There are people that are going to cast aspersions about you. It's like, he coached for the Raiders. Like, you don't think I know that? Right. I'm just letting you know what I've heard and what I saw by the SID, who was talking to Lane Kiffin directly, who's saying, holy shit, there's a lot of people here. I didn't think it would be like this. And it could, like, that's not his fault to put that out there, but it shows how much you're proving his point for him. If you're talking about Jacques, like, look at y'all. Y'all came out the woodworks because you want to talk about Lane Kiffin. This is the point that we're both making. And so it is going to be, the lights are going to be extremely bright. And to your point, they do want to see him fail.
Of course. Mm-hmm. And I think they also want to, not as much just Lane. And of course, that's the biggest part of it. But in addition to that, I think a lot of people, the old guard of fan, also wants this style of building a team to fail.
Right, you can't just go buy talent.
You can't just go spend $40 million, build a roster out of nothing, right? Because the offense literally returned, 4 guys? 5 guys? Barry, Green, Moore, Davis. Right.
But
5 guys.
Picarillo.
Right.
Nice.
6 guys
there you go.
return on this offense, right?
On.
And, offensive line, they have some more. But, that are going to, as of right now in the mix playing, 5 guys. Offensively. Everything else has been completely rebuilt. You've had to replace it. It's literally an expansion thing. Like you said, people want to see that fail.
Yeah.
You spent $40 million. You went and got Sam Leavitt and Jordan Seaton and this and that. And you're just building it like that. That's not how the sports, that's not college football. So no, I don't want them to win. Not just because I hate their coach, but I also hate the way they did it. A lot of people weren't fans of the way Ohio State did it because they spent $20 million. But their $20 million, a lot of it was on keeping players at Ohio State. They outbid the draft. I would still credit Ohio State with the homegrown talent they had on that football team.
Right.
When they won it. Outside of Will Howard, who obviously they paid to come from Kansas State to Ohio State. But now you're seeing the shift. And like White said, the difference is it's year one. And that's also Lane's point in there because he says we're also building a culture, right? This is something where it's a bunch of new guys from a bunch of different places that have been coached different ways that are now coming here and have to learn and build a culture that's Lane Kiffin under LSU. And you have to build it faster now because you're expected to win in year one. I've always thought that the timeline was 2 years with Cignetti's team, but I would even say with Mike Elko and Texas A&M.
Yep.
He got there, it was a mediocre year one. You won some big games. You beat LSU at home, those sorts of things. Year two with the quarterback returning and pieces, you were able to go through the portal, add some key pieces at wide receiver, and make a college football playoff run. So 2 years is because you had the year to build your culture and develop talent and find what you need. Not at LSU, not this year. It's year one. And I don't think it has to be a national championship for people to look at this as a success. I think they want ROI, which I think will be a sold-out Texas game, a sold-out Alabama game, potentially a home playoff game. That would be a successful ROI on what you spent. But at the same time, this team is not last year we were 7-6. This year we'll be 8-4. Maybe next year we'll make the jump to 10-2. That's not what this year is. And I want to establish that that's not what Lane Kiffin is saying. If you listen to him say that, and you listen to him to say, that this is a process, this is a work in progress, and you go, oh, he's trying to buy time. It's not so fun, is it, Lane? You don't know what you're listening to. Because then he stands there yesterday, and he goes, I'm not talking years. It's a process. We are not the best version of LSU right now, and thank God we aren't. Because if LSU was the best version of themselves on April 15th, we'd be in trouble. Because that's not who you want to be. It sucked last year. The best version of LSU we saw was week one. And majority of that's because Clemson sucked. But I didn't see a better LSU team show up to any games that year. That was the best LSU team I watched. It was week one versus Clemson, and that's why you went 7-6. Because as other teams started to get better, you didn't. You didn't develop throughout a season. And so when you hear Lane Kiffin say those things, of course it's a process. Because it is. Every team is a process. Some people have longer timelines. Lane Kiffin knows his timeline. Trust me, there is $40 million of pressure on this season. And not just $40 million from the Rock. There's probably $150 million of pressure on this season because you fired the last coach, you hired this coach, this staff, these players. There's been a lot of money spent, 100%. And that's why the pressure's on. But if you think Lane Kiffin doesn't know that and he's trying to push back and buy time and cop out, you're not listening. The back end of that clip we just played was him letting you know, I'm not talking about a 4-year process. It's the same thing Will Wade said in his opening presser. There ain't no year zero. If you're looking at this year as a year zero, you've already failed. It's not how it works anymore. You got to be ready to win now. And then you spend $40 million, so now you got to be ready to win now. I don't want the best version of LSU to be right now. I want it to be a process. I want it to be a work in progress on April 15th. Because if the best version of LSU's offense is with Sam Leavitt on the sideline and a bunch of guys that never played football together and on April 15th, something wild is going on in Baton Rouge. I want the best version of LSU to be in November. I want there to be a marketed difference between game number 1 versus Clemson and the team I'm watching right now at spring practice, I want there to be a marketed difference between game number 1 versus Clemson and the first day of fall camp. And then I want there to be a difference from game 1 to game 3 and 3 to 4 and 4 to 7 and 7 to week 10. So when you have that last stretch of the year in November where you play, Alabama, Texas, Arkansas, Tennessee, Arkansas?
Yep.
I want that to be the best version of LSU. And then I want them to even grow from there as you get ready for the postseason. I want the best version of LSU on that field against Texas. I want Jordan Seaton at his peak against Colin Simmons. I mean, talk about getting fired up. Talk about a matchup. I want DJ Pickett's best version to be up against Cam Coleman. I want the best version of Sam Leavitt to go up against Arch Manning. I want Lane Kiffin to have the same level of understanding of his team that Sark does of his. I want that game to be the most talked about game of the year because, God bless it should be. Just think of the matchups I just laid out. Seaton versus Simmons. Pickett versus Coleman. Leavitt versus Manning. Kiffin versus Sarkisian. Muschamp versus Baker. That game should be electric. And that's why I don't want the best version of LSU to be right now. That's why I like that Lane Kiffin is saying it's a process. But it's also a process he's done before. They had the number 1 portal class last year, but it was a process. The version of Ole Miss that went down to the wire against Kentucky earlier in the year and got run on all over by Taylon Green in Arkansas was not the team I saw play Georgia. It wasn't the team I saw play LSU. It wasn't the team I saw ball out against Oklahoma in a game that the old Lane Kiffin drops 10 times out of 10. I remember we sat down and talked about it after Ole Miss, they went to Norman and beat Oklahoma?
Yep.
When all the rumors started swirling, that was a classic game of if Lane Kiffin was immature and not ready for the moment, let the noise get to it and not get the job done. And instead they do. They win that game. And so you've seen Lane Kiffin build a team, build a roster, and watch the team develop and grow over a season and be the best version of themselves when they should be. And that's why you hire him. That's why you spend $40 million, because it's just like Lloyd and Wyatt both said, okay, now do it again. At a better program, a bigger scene, better color scheme, obviously, better fan base, the whole thing, do it at somewhere better.
We've earned that opportunity, and it also goes to, you can look at last year and make a very straight line comparison to the development of the quarterback position throughout the season. And that's what you're going to have to do again with Sam Leavitt, because you don't have the benefit of spring practice. You'll have to hopefully get him back for fall, and you start to see him take first-team reps. But it's going to be the same developmental process you had with Trinidad, because he wasn't getting first-team reps. He wasn't. Like, they got him late, added him late through the portal, and then he wasn't the starter. He wasn't meant to be the starter that eventually he just had to become because of injury. And you saw Trinidad get better from week 3 to week 13, right, when he was probably the best quarterback in the country outside of Fernando Mendoza, where it was, why is he even thinking about going back to Ole Miss?
Right,
because I think he's going to be the second quarterback taken.
He got comfortable. Charlie Weiss and him got comfortable with the system because it developed over the season.
And I think the same thing's going to happen with Leavitt, because people are starting to pull old Leavitt clips of some errant throws and all these things. They're starting to realize what Lane Kiffin is going to have. And once you marry Sam Leavitt and Lane Kiffin in that offense, why do you think he came here? Sure, the price tag was great if you're Sam Leavitt. Like, I will take $5 million, $4 million. But also look at the scheme and how much better I'll become.
Right. We're all
growing. He plays
growing.
that same style of football that you saw from Trinidad Chambliss, and now he gets to learn at a system that is inherently better at whatever he was doing at Arizona State, which was a lot of running around and hand it to Scattaboo. Or throw it to, who's my guy? Jordan Tyson.
Dog. Yeah. No, I mean, it should be a process. Everything's a process. You have to instill your pillars, right? You have to build your culture, lay your foundation. Just got to do it a little bit quicker. And he knows that. That's why he says it's not years. I know it's accelerated timeline. That's why you keep Blake Baker, because that allows you to accelerate the timeline. Because that defense is going to be stout. I will continue to say it until the season gets here. The LSU defense is going to be very, very good if they can continue to stay healthy. It sucked that they've had 2 injuries already up to this point.
That's unfortunate.
Extremely unfortunate. But it puts pressure on some younger guys. That's why you got him. Haven Finney, I think. A little bit more pressure on him now. Might have to step up and answer some calls. Lamar Brown. Ready to get you to campus now, cuz. Damian Shanklin. Guy you get last year as a freshman. He'll be, I think, either a redshirt freshman or a sophomore this year. You just got a bit of a promotion now that Relaford's not going to be able to be in the mix. All of those things. Time to answer the call. But that's why you get Jordan Ross and Prince William Miellen. That's why you go pay for Lamar Brown, the number 1 player in the country. And we'll talk a little bit about recruiting, too, to close it out. Because speaking of Lamar Brown and as the number 1 player in the country, number 1 tight end in the country, who we've talked about a good bit on this show. I've seen up close a handful of times, watched a lot of basketball film on, but I've also seen him play a lot of football. And I think we're marking down the day. I think Rustin and Catholic play? No, Rustin and Edna Carr play next year.
No way.
And I think we're going to mark down. I think Tingle might have to just make the trip. Go watch Rustin versus Carr, because how could you miss that? Ahmad Hudson, the 5-star tight end, is down to 2 teams, LSU and Nebraska, which I think everyone knew was always going to come down to those 2. But I will say, extremely confident in where LSU stands in this. And let me also say, talking about Lane Kiffin and getting this thing rolling, back-to-back classes of Lamar Brown, Richard Anderson as the top players in Louisiana, Bryson Martinez, one of the top offensive linemen. If they can do what is potentially extremely impressive of putting together the class out of Louisiana that they could in this recruiting cycle, if they're able to lock down Ahmad Hudson, in addition to Pop Houston, who they already have, if they pull off the flip of Easton Royal and lock down Albert Simeon.
I want that.
Official visitor this weekend, Albert Simeon.
Coach, I'm getting chills thinking about it. That's how you build the foundation of a program. Back-to-back classes like that, and that's may I say it again, that's why you come to LSU. Because at LSU, you get to recruit a state that in a class next year has 2 top 10 quarterbacks, the top interior offensive lineman, the top tight end, the top wide receiver, sitting in your state. And if they can get the job done, after a year where you had the number 1 player in the country on your campus, and you got him to LSU, in addition to the number 1 D lineman and Richard Anderson, and Deuce Gerald's right behind him. I mean, let's all understand what it could end up looking like. And I know a lot of people are out on high school recruiting, and you change the way you recruit high school because of the portal. But sometimes there are classes that are just you can't miss on. And this one, I don't know how you can. I mean, the top 5 players in Louisiana in the class of 2027. Easton Royal, Elijah Haven, Albert Simeon, Ahmad Hudson, Peyton Houston. Houston being the lone 4-star. Easton Royal is currently committed to Texas, but LSU's pushing. You got to choose between the quarterbacks. Can't get both of them. And Lane Kiffin, LSU, on Pop Houston, and then Simeon and Hudson. But I think Hudson commits to an LSU Tiger, and I think they're pushing hard for Simeon because that top 5, it's as good as it gets. You also have got number 7. You got Braylon Calais out of Cecilia, who he announced he's committing to
April 20th.
Making his decision on April 20th. Will be when he makes his decision. Also at number 10, you've got Jaden Anding, safety, younger brother of Aiden Anding. Also will be playing in that game for Ruston. Jaden Miles, one of the top running backs in the country, right there at Catholic High. That's why you come to LSU for that class right there. And can you put that image back up from our guy, Pop Houston?
And somebody seemed to like it.
Huh.
Somebody else seemed to like it also.
I think the most telling thing, and look, I don't know if they're going to flip Easton Royal or not, but when Lane Kiffin starts retweeting your tweets, I don't think he would do that for a guy that you have no chance at getting. I'm not saying he's coming to LSU. I'm not saying he's going to Texas. I don't think Lane Kiffin would be retweeting your tweets.
If y'all weren't in conversation.
If you guys weren't chopping it up, pretty much on the regular. And he's done a couple of Easton Royal retweets recently. And I know he was on campus
recently.
Yeah. I know he's scheduled to come back as well pretty soon. So
that class is a special one.
It could be.
Should be.
It will be.
Do you remember the class that Nick Saban put together when he first got to LSU?
I do.
Through the state of Louisiana, guys like Marcus Spears, Andrew Whitworth, Michael Clayton, the state that he recruited, Louisiana. And then what did it turn into?
Pretty good.
I mean,
2001
like
class.
That 2001 recruiting class. Let's hear it. Read those names off to me, please.
No.
No.
Make sure I get them all.
Get them all. That 2001 LSU football recruiting class. If my memory serves me correctly from when I was alive in 2001, it was a pretty good class.
I got it. Michael Clayton,
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Adai, Andrew Whitworth, Marquise Hill,
Okay.
Ben Wilkerson,
Yeah.
Chiron Carey. My
the
dad
Carey.
loved him.
Yeah, everybody did. He went to Shaw.
Benny Brazel.
Oh, yeah. You don't know these people? Oh.
I know Benny Brazel.
Okay.
I only read the names of the guys that I know.
Yeah.
Marcus Spears.
I know Marcus Spears. Did I not say Marcus Spears?
Ben Wilkerson came in as a freshman, started.
Mhm.
Andrew Whitworth was a freshman, started. Joseph Adai took over that position and started. Chiron Carey got carries in that offense as a freshman. Travis Daniels burned his red shirt to be able to play in the bowl game.
Boom.
This team is absolutely Ronnie Prude. Damn you.
I mean, you had 3 parade All-Americans, Spears, Clayton, Wilkerson. Those 3 were also Prep Star All-Americans. 4 Reebok ESPN All-Americans, Clayton, Spears, Wilkerson, and Marquise Hill. 5 members of Super Prep's Elite 50 prospects. Marcus Spears, number 3. Michael Clayton, number 5. Marquise Hill, number 7. Bill Wilkerson, 16. David Jones, 38. 5 members of Tom Lemming's Top 100. Marquise Hill, 12. Ben Wilkerson, 21. Marcus Spears, 30. Michael Clayton, 36. And Joseph Adai, 68. I mean, that's how you win a national championship, right?
I mean, he didn't
Put together
miss.
a class like that. And then when you fast forward to, 2 years later, that's how you do it. And I'm not saying that this class is that class. What I'm saying is that's how you're successful at LSU is you seal the deal on the guys that can't miss, like a Spears, like a Clayton, like a Whitworth, like an Adai, go down the list.
Do you want to hear the next national championship class he recruited only 2 years later?
Let's hear it.
Dwayne Bowe.
I remember
Jesse
him.
Daniels.
Yep.
Craig Buster Davis. Matt Flynn.
Yeah.
Sean Jordan, who's a terrifying person. Jonathan Zenon. Ant Pill should have been better. Kirsten Pittman. LaRon Landry.
Oh.
Allie Broussard.
Heard these names
Justin
a couple times.
Vincent.
Alley Cat.
And
JV.
Jamarcus Russell. 2007 won a national championship.
And obviously the game has changed. The sport has changed. The state of Louisiana stays the same. And it delivers Easton Royal, Ahmad Hudson, Albert Simeon, Lamar Brown, Richard Anderson, Pop Houston, Harlem Berry. The state of Louisiana Deshaun Spears delivers the talent. And what potentially could happen on the recruiting trail coming up soon could be massive for the future of LSU football in the coming years. And that's the part that when Lane Kiffin talked about getting to LSU and kind of starting to build a program and get things right, he said, I'm not just talking about football. He's like, I'm also talking about recruiting. We are now comfortable on the trail and getting to know coaches and getting those things moving and shaking. And when he talks about, and clip number 7, it's the sound bites like these that show the understanding he has. He was asked a question about Trades Green, and he ends up talking about Louisiana athletes as a whole.
Look, everybody's trying to get on Lane Kiffin's radar and either get retweeted by him or liked by him or what have you. Talk about Trades Green, and you'll light him up because he can't stop talking about him either because he's never seen anybody like him.
I mean, there's no other way to be about it. It's Trades Green. He is the epitome of hashtag just different.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, headlined by Trades, he's been phenomenal. We've had to pull him back a little bit just from a mileage standpoint because he does work so hard and runs so much in the course of practice. And he has that mindset that continue to run across, as I've talked about in Louisiana, with players, with recruits. You say, how are things going since you got here? I mean, think offensive and defensively. I also think recruiting-wise, and it has gone extremely well, and really have enjoyed the Louisiana players and the mindset of them, whether it's the current team or the ones that come in and meet. And he's a great example of that. And we're developing after that some guys in a room, and I think that I don't think you're going to have the depth of rooms that you used to have because you're not going to sign premier guys at a spot every year and keep them. It's just the system until if it's ever changed, that's how it's going to be.
There he is, Lane Kiffin, talking about the state of Louisiana recruiting this state in talent like Trades Green.
Imagine having Trades Green on your roster already. Then you're like, certainly this will never happen again. Like, let's look at the recruiting board. Ahmad Hudson.
Wait.
Cool. This place is awesome.
Yeah, I love Louisiana. Don't forget, every single day we're brought to you by AJ Sports Cards. AJ Sports Cards brings you our show Monday through Friday, and they've bet on us since day number one. They've been bringing you Tingle & Co. As long as we've been alive, really. As long as we've been a thing. Tingle & Co. has been brought to you by AJ Sports Cards. We appreciate AJ Sports Cards. Make sure they feel your appreciation on May 2nd. As they have the AJ Sports Cards card show, May 2nd, Elite Football Academy, 9 a.m., 4 p.m. Awesome event. We'll be there. We'll make sure to see you there. Sorry, AJs. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook, AJ Sports Cards 225BR on Instagram, AJ Sports Cards on Facebook. They bring you our show every day. And now we're going to go 13 for 13,
13 for 13. Haven't done it the last 2 days.
We haven't. We started yesterday. Went 4 for 4 yesterday.
Right, yeah. And then Charles
off.
comes in and distracts us.
He does. Hey, little buddy.
What's going on, Tucker?
It's not a distraction.
No, it's a good distraction.
He carries us.
Yeah, he does carry us.
You chilling down there, buddy?
Yeah, he made Noah bring his dog.
Mm-hmm.
He did a great job.
Yeah,
he's done a good job.
Very well behaved.
First show.
He was falling asleep back there for a minute.
Dogs crack me up because he was behind you over here to your left,
and then went all the way around and just plopped down.
Made himself stand up, walked around, and then just went back to sleep.
Same spot. Yeah.
He just wanted a new spot.
He just wanted some attention. Oh, I guess it got hot.
Yeah, he likes to switch spots.
Me too.
How long do you think he'll live?
That's not having that conversation.
Hey, Tucker.
Like you'll be. Mine? How old is he right now?
He turns 2 on Sunday.
And you're 24?
23.
23?
Don't do this.
So by the time you're my age, he'll be dead.
Shut up. Stop talking about that.
And
he's going to live forever.
And Toonie will still be alive.
He's going to live forever.
Toonie, I hope Toonie dies tomorrow.
Why?
Because cats suck.
No.
You want to show some tricks, buddy? We'll get you a treat.
Oh, he has to have a treat to do tricks? Like a little stripper.
I'm the same way.
Little stripper, he says.
See, I can tell this part. What about the other one? Give me that one again. Back to this one. Back on. Lay down. Sit. Get up.
Can you roll over, you big dumb animal? Can you roll over? Can you? Oh, Tucker. Bang!
Why do you want to kill Tucker?
I want to see if he played dead.
No.
We're alive, right?
You never played dead, Tucker.
Oh, no. You
Oh.
get more.
You did leave the bag open.
Did I?
That was dangerous.
It's actually
That's
It's actually very dangerous.
Can you have a
the
piece of
Tucker's
candy?
It's actually really smart. What about a cracklin? Can you eat a cracklin? That's what I was thinking.
Do you have cracklins over there?
I want to give it to him.
Tucker, go get a cracklin. Sit for Uncle Lloyd.
Let's see. Sit down, you big oaf. Sit. That boy. Catch.
Yeah.
That boy.
Athlete.
That's right.
I'm sitting. Give me one. I'll take one.
Oh!
Come on.
Wait, that's
On
not
the
for me?
stream too.
Come on.
All right, sit down.
That was so tough.
Tucker, sit.
What's up, Tucker?
No more snacks. Get up on the chair.
I wonder if he
Come
probably was. I mean, he's never had cracklin before, I would imagine.
here, you want to come sit on the chair? Come on, get up there. Come on. Come here. You want a treat?
Oh,
There you go. Come here.
I don't want any more.
Get up here.
Yeah, that was a perfect.
No, beautiful. What a throw. Great
you.
throw, by the way.
Get you on the chair so you can go first.
I should have Pearsoned it and just
Get up here.
hopped,
Yeah, he
hopped,
did the four
collected.
crow hops.
Get up there. Come on. You can do it.
Is he scared? I think he's
Come on.
scared.
Come on. You're not
It's
too
just
big.
unexplored territory
Come on.
for
Get
him.
up there. Get up. Tucker.
What if it's a bad tack? Oh, nice.
Oh, no.
Come on. Why are you acting like an idiot?
Because he is. I mean,
He is a dog, yeah.
you're gonna pick him up and put him on there.
Nice.
He's gonna hate it.
There you go. Stay.
You're good.
Stay.
Tell him to
Stay.
bark in the microphone. Did he speak?
Stay.
Speak.
Stay.
Speak.
You got something to say? Hey, stay.
Do the ZipRecruiter ad.
Stay. Talk about our friends over at CAS Roofing.
There you go. And advising.
You got anything to say? Stay. Stay.
First dog on the roof.
Stay. Just stay right there. Stay. Stay.
Good job, Tucker, man.
He looks a little feminine. He looks a little scared.
Yeah, he looks terrified. Like,
Okay, you can come here. Come.
there you go.
Let's actually go through the tunnel.
Yeah, I was gonna say he does like to do that. He needs to start doing the stomps, the Nala stomps. I love that.
Come here.
Oh, he's getting riled up now.
He's a good dog.
He likes the butt pats.
All right. Come here.
I mean, who doesn't?
That's right.
Lay down.
Speak.
Stay.
Speak.
Relax.
Speak. Speak. Speak.
Just relax.
Christmas.
Christmas.
Does he know his purpose? Because he's very good at it.
Billy said this guy's way better than Chrissy.
Tucker.
Wait. Chef said, so it's confirmed. Wyatt hates Mike what is that, the 7th?
Yeah.
I don't hate
You just
why
said
would
you
I
hate cats.
No, I hate house cats.
That's
a wild animal.
He has a house on campus.
No, that is
you really
no.
burned yourself there.
I did not.
You might as well go to Ole Miss.
Little pussy ass house cats like Tunchi.
Toonie would rip your eyes out.
Oh, LSU.
That's different.
Oh, nice.
I can't just submit.
LSU, Clemson, Memphis.
What?
The Vanderbilt's in there.
Tigers?
But I don't know.
Yeah. LSU, Clemson, Memphis, Detroit.
Tigers, yeah. Good call.
That's it? They couldn't do more fun.
So it's MILCINSTLPIT.
Mm-hmm.
They're all in the same division.
Smart, Doncic, Vanderbilt, James.
Yeah.
Lakers, baby.
Lakers.
Stonehouse and
Bonspiel.
Bonspiel. What is that?
Bonspiel.
Tucker, lay down.
Curling terms. Interesting.
Oh, Diana Rossini resigns. I wonder what she did.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday.
Do you think she tried again?
Well, at this point, what's the harm? But I feel like now the thrill is over. The thrill of like, oh, I don't want to get caught. Oh, we're cheating on
We're
our
already
spouses. Like, yeah, you already got caught. So what's the point?
Yeah, I just didn't know if she asked the guy or girl at the athletic. Like, this is usually how I get out of these.
Oh, gosh.
You know what I would do. Nope. Okay. We'll resign.
Yeah, Cajun, this isn't a Kansas State quarter zip. This is Central High School, actually.
Listen, I'm willing to do anything to keep my job.
Uh-huh.
And then anything?
Yeah, we heard.
Listen,
that's why you're in this predicament.
Yeah. It normally happens on a couch like one of these that I'm sitting on.
I wonder where she ends up.
I hope it's porn.
I would think that it could be that OnlyFans.
No.
I wouldn't pay, but I would.
What if
I'd
she
watch
does
the
like
leaks.
Barstool will hire,
or she can?
That's so. Oh my gosh,
That's probably
Barstool
what's
would
gonna
hire.
happen. And then they get Vrabel exclusives.
They already do.
Right now, you just. The next time you have Vrabel on, she walks out the closet and he's like, "Oh, this is a gotcha."
Punked.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's crazy.
A live stream of her breaking news. Breaking nudes.
No, I heard you.
Yeah. Like.
Yeah.
Contracts and such. Draft trade. People would watch.
Breaking nudes.
Full of ideas over here.
Love it.
What was my other idea? Dog of the day?
Dog of the day. That wasn't a bad one.
Dog of
Lloyd's
the day.
idea is
yeah.
you choose a player, and every time, whatever they do, that's how many hot dogs you eat, however many bases.
Total bases is total dogs.
Total bases,
Yes.
total dogs, right? So if they strike out,
You don't get
if
to
they
eat.
go 0 for, they don't walk, they go 0 for 4 strikeouts. That's no dogs, you're hungry.
That's why I think it's good, because you want to get somewhere in the middle. You don't want 0 dogs.
But you also don't want Aaron Beatty.
Yeah, you don't
17
want Aaron
dogs.
Beatty versus Tennessee on Sunday. Oh,
What is all
no.
that?
Who do you see out there, buddy?
Is it a cat?
Who do you see?
Is it Roe?
Who do you see? Why are you going to check? Tucker,
Maybe
back up.
it is- maybe
It's
we
probably
are
just
in
somebody
danger.
walking in. Hey, sit. Tucker, sit. Sit down.
You think you see yourself? You that stupid?
Tucker, man.
He's soft, isn't he?
I would sleep with it. I get it.
Does he sleep in your bed sometimes? Respect. So this isn't like your parents' dog. Like,
This
it
is
is
my
your
dog.
dog.
I paid for him.
Respect.
And I pay for his vet bills.
I had a dog when I lived in New York for it was 2.5 months. I had like a 20-minute walk to the gym every day, and right by the gym there was like a dog, not like a pound, but like
a dog reservoir.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know. And like first week I went in there randomly, and I fell in love with this dog. And so like literally part of my routine every day was get home, like to my dorm, change, walk to the gym. On the way to the gym, stop there, and they had like a little play area, and you could like pick one of the dogs, and you can go play. And I'd go play with my little dog for like
What'd you
15
name it?
minutes. Coco.
And you just cosplayed as a dog owner.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't.
You got all the fun, none of the responsibility.
$2,500. I was not paying for that dog, and then
What kind of dog was it?
right at the end of the summer, it got adopted. And I went in, and I was because they knew
Coco?
me. They knew me, and I was like, "Can I see Coco? Can I play with Coco?" And they were like, "She got adopted." And I was like, but I was kind of happy at the same. I was like, "Oh, Coco's like,
You're not selfish.
I hope she's gonna be happy now." Like, but in like my own little selfish way, I was like, "Damn, like." Ew. Yeah. No, but in my own little selfish way, I was kind of like, "Damn, like that is sad. Like I'm never gonna see Coco again." But I'm sure she's happy.
What kind of dog was
living
it?
life now. I don't know. It was like a small dog. It was I don't even know what kind of breed it was. It was smaller though.
$2,500 worth of breed.
Yeah.
he wasn't $2,500.
Yeah, $2,499.
$1,800.
That's how much I got for
$1,000.
$600.
That's crazy that you could have gotten a PlayStation or a dog.
Yep.
Well, he already had an Xbox, so.
Well, he didn't have to switch anymore.
I knew the person that was selling him that had breeded, and he also has a missing toe.
Interesting.
Where?
His back right paw, he's missing a toe.
Wow.
Tucker, come here. Let's
Does
show
that,
everybody,
like-
show everybody your deformity.
This is
Does
why you're
it-
cheap.
This is why you're
Sit,
cheap.
come here. Sit.
Does it bother him at all? Like, does he have? Oh, wait, I actually see it. He does not want to lay down.
I'm trying to see which. I don't. It doesn't go.
Does it go down enough?
Mm-mm.
Missing this one right here.
Oh, he is.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I'll just pick you up and show the camera.
Big boy.
Mm.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy.
You're staying on the gene pool.
Don't let him fucking
Breed.
Yeah.
Is he snipped? You didn't want to breed him? Make his money back?
I regret it now.
Well, yeah.
I could have. But
Well, especially I feel like you'll regret it.
when you have the boy dog, you don't make that much money.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
that is true.
Boy dog, you get a stud fee or
That's
pick of the litter.
Yeah, that's true.
But then you pick a girl dog.
That's what I was gonna say. Though it's more the pick of the litter, because then when the Lloyd thing does actually
Right,
happen,
right.
then you're gonna be like, damn, I wish.
Tucker, sit. Sit. The good thing is
So
his
Lloyd
dad-
think it's dead?
His dad's
Yeah.
not fixed.
Oh, so you can go back to the well?
Yeah, go back to the well.
What'd you name it?
Interesting.
Tucker 2?
No.
He's got an interestingly shaped tail. Like it's a very wide tail. I feel like wide set.
He's very, he's got flowy hair.
Oh my
It's
god.
the girl from Bridesmaids Tour or whatever. Handmaid's Tale.
I don't know. I don't know either of these people.
You don't know the girl from Handmaid's Tale?
Never seen that.
No, I don't.
What
know
about
this
the
either.
assistant in Mad Men?
Nothing.
That's her. I don't know who the boy is. Maybe Tobey Maguire.
No, I don't. Well, I do feel like I've seen the exterior person, like this picture before, for some reason.
Christian has some terrible ideas.
That was a bad idea in the chat.
What did he say?
I'm not even reading it out loud.
That's why I didn't.
He has he has terrible ideas.
A new Diana Rossini episode.
At 44 years old, Benitez already made his final career NFL start with this
Oh
NFC
my God.
East team in 2007.
NFC East? What is that?
That's the Giants.
Giants,
Eagles.
Commanders, Cowboys, Eagles?
Yeah.
I think he was a Cowboy.
I don't know. Dallas, Cowboy,
Yeah.
yep.
College.
Barrett.
No, it'd be Barry Sanders. Correct? It's only an Oklahoma State running back I can think that won the Heisman.
No, it's Barry Sanders because that's the rushing touchdowns record. I'm pretty sure.
I would love
might
for
be
that
the-
to have been wrong.
Barry
Be
Sanders.
like, oh.
No.
'Cause it seems so
What
obvious.
was that, NCAA 13?
Yeah.
They had him and RG3 on the cover of
That commercial came out. I loved playing with RG3 at LSU.
Oh, did you see the commercial that
was
came?
so much fun.
The Les Miles commercial?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
He's like a son to me.
And did you see someone quote tweeted it and was like, Les Miles was so fucking stupid
It's so
and so
arrogant.
set in his ways. They were like, you can't bring RG3 here and make our offense
Because he
good.
didn't want to recruit him either.
RG3?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't even know.
But Les
Yeah, I
is
guess
funny
that's
in that
true.
commercial.
Yeah.
Takes the jersey off. The boys walk. Hey, put on some pants.
He seems like he's not a bad personality.
No, he was never.
Not
That
at
was
all.
never the problem.
That's not the problem. The problem was he was not very good.
No, yeah.
Coaching.
Like it seems like he'd be all right to hang out with.
Oh yeah.
I could probably chop it up with Les Miles. He doesn't like me and my dad though. My dad forced him to take a picture with us after one of the Bayou bashes. He was not happy.
This is Chicago Bulls. feel like they've been in the play-in tournament every year. Don't put it in yet. I don't know.
The Heat?
No, they've gotten in. They were a play-in team in 24, got in, made the finals. Could be the
Hornets?
Hawks. Could be
I
the
was
Hawks,
thinking the Hornets,
could be the
maybe.
Heat. I don't think the Hornets have ever really gotten into the play-in until this year.
I thought they got in last year.
See, I thought they got in last year too, but I feel I have a hard time believing they got in
the
the 2 years
Magic.
before that. No,
It's
it's not.
Christian
It's not
Cali.
the Magic. It's not the Magic.
Here's in,
They were in the
They
normal
made the
playoffs.
playoffs
Yeah,
last year.
fucking idiot.
yep.
It's, for me, it's
Speaking
between
of
the
the
Hawks, the Bulls, and I feel like the Hawks have gotten in. And I know it was.
The Bulls sound like something that would be something that.
I feel like it's the Chicago Bulls.
Oh, you bastard!
Well, Tucker's gonna come sit right by you now.
Okay, I love him.
Tucker, sit. Sit.
Tucker, mate.
I trust it. Do it.
Nice. Good stuff, boys.
That was my first instinct. I can feel it in my loins.
Tucker can't feel his loins.
Nope. You can smell those
Oh!
bites, though. Oh.
Oh my God. I've seen this movie. It's an unbelievable scene.
A foul ball kills his friend's mom.
Simon Birch. You want to see him? This scene is something that you just can't ever really forget. Is this it? It shouldn't take long. Not only 3 minutes of it. Oh. I want to see the foul ball.
It's rare that you're so jacked up for an answer like this.
Simon Birch is a niche movie
Really?
because it's terrible.
Maybe I should start watching more movies. Everybody
should.
tells me movies are good.
I hate when I bring up movies, ask you if you've seen something, and then I'm like, no, he hasn't.
Yeah. I watched Nuremberg the other day. It was really, really good, actually. I enjoyed myself.
This is Simon Birch. This is why you know what I like. Freak shows.
This is true.
What am I watching?
That's Simon Birch. He's a bat.
Okay.
And
It's a child.
They set up. No, he's not. He's a small boy.
Oh, he's a Benjamin Button?
Yeah, something like that. So they set up the scene, right? That you're supposed to be happy for him. Simon Birch never gets a hit. You know this. Like, this is his moment.
No, I don't. No. I'm not gonna let you disrespect my baseball career like that. First of all, I was second in the team in batting average
Yep.
as an 11-year-old, top 30 team in the country. I'll have you know.
Boom. Mic drop. He really wants to find this.
Yeah, he's very intrigued in this. What's in Tucker's treats? I kind of want to try one.
It's like a chicken thing.
Interesting.
I know he's never had these before.
Interesting.
I just needed to pick up some treats. I forgot his treats at the house.
We'll see if they're safe for humans. Maybe I'll try one.
Most dog treats are safe for humans.
So Simon Birch gets up to bat.
Of course, I see that. He looks like he's in the batter's box. Okay.
You're out, fella.
October 30th, 1960.
Our team was getting beaten badly by Horseshoe Bay. This wasn't an altogether uncommon occurrence, but on this particular day, for no particular reason, Coach Higgins decided to pack it in, so we could all go home.
He's so small.
It was a decision that would haunt the poor man for the rest of his life.
So you need to listen to me.
Simon, you're up.
So for the first time of his entire life, he gets told to swing away.
Swing away.
Because he used to use little freak just to walk.
You heard me. Swing.
Yes, sir.
So Simon's all thrilled to get to context you'll never believe.
Ball one.
Simon.
Crazy ball call.
Swing that.
That was too high. Come on, Simon, you can do it. Send it over the fence. Be sure to let go of the bat so you don't go with me.
Ball two.
Oh, he does reverse call for the ball.
This is what I was saying. That's
Left
weird.
hand.
Swing. I'm taking my pitch.
He's got a good approach at the plate, Coach. Come on. Oh.
Who's this? So this is the teammate's mother.
He's going to show off in front of the hot woman.
Beautifully edited. Very cinematic this is.
Four seam.
Spin rate. Simon sees it.
Early. He got the bat head out there.
Simon Birch sends it long and deep to left. It's going. Going.
Will it go?
Going. Going. Still going. 400 feet, Simon Birch said.
And that ball is carrying.
Oh, foul ball.
Carrying. Oh, no, not foul.
He hit it foul.
Not foul territory. Turn around.
The only kid that liked him on the team, he killed his mom. Oh, just why? There's no point to put this in the movie. But this is what was in it. This is why I remember Simon Birch.
He's gonna kiss her? What's going on here?
She's dead.
She's dead.
And then we do a quick smooth transition here to the bridge where Simon Birch jumps.
Lloyd, your brain is just. Christian in the chat just said, tree! Yeah. That was good. Christian, you missed it last night. Simpson hits a pop-up, and it does not get caught by an infielder. And it would have been, if you would have called tree, it would have been the peak moment of your life.
Yeah, you would have probably passed away, just like that woman and Simon Birch. But that's why I got excited.
Tucker, did you just fart?
He might have.
I respect that.
He does let out some toots now.
Well,
Tucker, man.
he did have 2 cracklings.
He did.
So how old was he when you bought him?
0.
So I picked him out. Like, I'll show you the first picture I ever took of him. When I bought him, he was probably a month old, maybe younger than that. I got him at a month, so I bought him at a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But when I first got him, it was after he had turned a month old. He was born in April of 24, and then I got him at June 1st of 24.
Right.
Who's the boy? It's Elizabeth Moss.
I don't know who the boy is.
I've never seen that boy in my life.
So he had no net game. Simon Birch.
No net.
No net game.
That no net game will get you, huh, Lloyd?
Jabuka. It's a trademark ice cream flavor by this chain.
Oh, this is Raskin and Bobbins.
Baskin Robbins. So this was the first time I ever saw him.
Oh, he's so small.
It was the litter.
Wait, that was the litter?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was the mother.
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh. Okay, he was tiny. Jesus.
No, this was
stop.
him and his siblings.
Oh my gosh.
So I went over there, and his toe had just fallen off. And then this was him. Whenever I had decided I was getting him.
Oh my
His
gosh.
eyes. This was when his eyes first opened. Because when puppies are
So
first born, their
small.
eyes are sealed shut.
Yeah. Oh my
There
gosh.
you go, Lloyd. The stream dropped because we got flagged.
For Simon Birch?
Uh-huh.
I was curious as to what the rules were for that.
I didn't think that would matter.